Hi, I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to talk to you about the Moats theory of life and the amazing Father's Day sale that we have going on, ladies and gentlemen. So, leading up till Father's Day, if you purchase Moats Theory of Life, my new book, you can buy one and get the next one half off. I mean, this is a chance to help your father become a better person of impact and inspiration. You do not want to miss this opportunity. So with that being said, moatstheory.com is the place to go. You do not want to miss out, baby. What's up? What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, man?
Man, good news in the neighborhood. You know what's up, baby. Why we playing with it, man? We got two big time announcements today, man. First off, I don't even want to. I mean, well, two, because the whole training camp thing that we're gonna get into with the NFL. Okay. But more so with the NFL, we got positive. We got some positive. Right. But for the NBA, man, where this podcast initially began.
Yeah.
NBA said they coming back. Well, their official vote will be today. Today, which is June 4th, they'll have the official players vote, and then they can officially agree upon it. But everything
is there a time? Because I could just go on Twitter right now, go to Woj, see if
they're saying everything is pointing to it being approved.
Let me check. I'm going to Woj right now.
Let's see what he says, man.
Source 29-1 vote. NBA Board of Governors have voted to approve the team's 22-team format to restart the 2019-2020 season in Orlando. So
I like it.
That was 38 minutes ago.
All right, cool. So boom, there you have it right there,
man. It's official. No need to speculate and say if it happens, if it's going to get approved. No, it's good,
man. So there it is, man. I'm excited about it.
I am too. Very much excited. Now, going back to us talking about the NBA coming back like a week or two ago. Mm-hmm. We had our differences in terms of what is best for the players and coming back. And I was thinking, I think they could get it done in a couple weeks before the season started in terms of training and doing practice and stuff like that. It seems like this proposal gives the best of both worlds for everyone. Fans, players, I guess owners, and just revenue in general. Coming into the league, because you got the 8 regular season games beforehand. Who's not going to watch those?
Correct.
Even though for the teams, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Bucks, some of those elite teams, is it going to mean anything in terms of their playoffs or winning the championship? But
apparently it's going to affect the seeding, correct?
It'll affect the seeding. At the same time, though, that is all part of the little warm-up process that we were talking about.
Well, I mean, and technically the seeding is not really going to matter when we're all having the games at the same place.
No, exactly. But that plays into, for the players, the 8 games. That gives you a little bit of a warm-up. But the total time before the playoffs start, and even that regular season, that's going to be basically like 2 months.
2 months, yes.
From here till then. Now, I don't know when they're going to start doing the practices and gathering together.
Well, they've already opened up their facilities.
Okay.
Because they've already been players going in. That happened, I want to say 2 weeks ago, maybe. They've already had players going into different facilities. But I'm not sure on this. I know the NFL, they've allowed the teams to operate under their state's governing. So places like Florida, for example, if you're the Miami Heat or the Orlando Magic, they've been allowed to have their players in there, whereas people in New York, or, well, you don't have a Washington team anymore, but where those places where it's still more locked down, they haven't been able to have guys. And that was the issue we're talking about with the NFL right now, with their, with Roger Goodell putting out a statement today where he's allowing teams to open up their facilities and having a certain amount of people in there. The issue is, because it's per state, not every state is on the same page. So you do kind of have the competitive advantages and disadvantages. But with everybody having to go to Florida for this situation with the NBA, that should minimize that whole issue.
Either way, you have June and July. You're thinking you're at least going to get a month of hard practice, hard training beforehand to get conditioned for this. So that's good for the players. That was something that we were talking about last couple of weeks, and it seems like it's solved. There's not going to be an issue of, are they going to have enough time? This is clearly enough time. So, and then it
clearly
just
enough time under the circumstances.
Under the circumstances,
yes.
Correct.
Don't try to make it like, oh man, that's normal. That's enough time under the circumstances.
Okay.
That'd be like showing up to training camp. You haven't worked out all season. Show up to training camp and, oh man, yeah, you got all the training camp to get ready to go for the season. It's not how it works.
And then I love the 8 regular season games. I love the potential play-in game for the 8th seed. You know, it could be for the Western Conference. There's like 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah.
And maybe even 6 in play.
What I thought, because it's more in the Western Conference than it is in the Eastern Conference. Yeah.
And there's only 2.
Because I think it's 13 total teams for the play-in right now. But the majority, I think it's 8 on the West. Is it 8? Is it 8 on the West? I forgot how many they have on the West. It's a lot more.
There's 22 teams, so you have an extra, hold on, how many? 8 and 8, 16. So you have an extra 6 teams in general. I think it's 5 extra teams on the West.
Yeah.
1 extra team on the East.
That's what it might be.
But, I mean, if you combine that together, so that's 6 teams in play for the 8th seed, 2 teams on the East for the 8th seed. I like that. I think that's going to be interesting. I don't think, in general, the NBA could have really done any wrong here unless they would have gone only 4 teams make it, only 6 teams. I think the more the merrier in this case, because everyone's been starving for sports. I don't think anyone's really going to take this time for granted. Now, one of the complaints is, you know, they're going to be going into October. They could be running in with the NFL and the MLB playoffs or championship potentially. I don't think anyone's going to care. If you have LeBron or some of these big name players in the finals, I'm watching. I don't really care about that. I think it's going to be a nice run on of sports. And like I said, I think it's a win-win for everyone in this case. I think it's going to be exciting. A lot of games to be played here, and I'm going to be watching. So
I like it.
What do you think, man?
I'm cool with it, man. I don't have any complaints with it. Like I said, the 2 months under the circumstances, best case. I think the 8-game play-in, really good in terms of the regular season element of it. Give the guys a chance to get warmed up, get their bodies as best acclimated as possible, minimizing the risk as much as possible without compromising the fan element of it, without compromising the marketability element of it. So I think in all of those factors is good. And from there, man, I'm just ready to see what the product looks like, man. That's what it's ultimately going to come down to, because it's easy to sit right now on paper and say, oh, this is a great idea. That's long enough. This is good. That's good. But, you know, if they go out there and it looks absolutely horrible or guys are getting hurt, well, now it's a different perspective. But from where we're sitting at right now, man, hey, look, it looks good, man. So let's go see what it looks like, man. I'm excited, though.
Yeah, exactly. Anything's good with me. And that 8 regular season game thing, it's going to be exciting because, like you said, it's for seeding. So those bottom 5-6 teams, even Mavericks. I think who else on the West? The Grizzlies, the Pelicans. I know your boy Morant. You know, going up against Zion. That type of stuff's going to be interesting. Is Zion going to be able to sneak in the playoffs here? I mean, I like where it's heading. Now, you know what I'm thinking with all this.
Let me hear.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if you know this, but you're not going to be surprised. Or do you,
I feel like you're about to give me something, man. Go ahead.
You don't know what it is?
Let's go, man.
Do you have a guess?
Let's go.
Durant should come back.
Well, he already said he doesn't want to.
When this was, 1 or 2 months ago, though?
Yeah.
That was maybe under the presumption that they'd be playing end of June, or even just June in general, or maybe even end of May.
Okay.
This is end of July now.
Okay.
If you look back, I went and checked out star players that have come back from Achilles injury.
Okay.
The average day span for their recovery process was 269 days.
Okay.
The most was Boogie Cousins. I think it was 350 something. You know, I looked at the star players. So it was Kobe, Dominique Wilkins, Chauncey Billups, LaFonso Ellis, bunch of these dudes. There was like 7 or 8 guys. Durant's injury, this is going to be probably close to 400 days if he came back July 31st when the NBA will be resuming. So I know I'm pretty reckless with this type of stuff where I want to see my star players. I want to see people come back. It's going to be exciting. But it makes complete sense in this standpoint. I mean,
How does it make complete sense?
I just listed off the days of the average time span of all these guys coming back.
Did you look into how many of those guys, when they did come back, had another injury? That wasn't the Achilles, because we talked about with Boogie how he had the Achilles, then it was another injury, then it was another injury, right? We talked about how last year, or not last year, the year when Durant got hurt, remember he was coming off of an injury, and same theory, well, hey man, you spent X amount of days, you're healed up, that healed up, okay, cool. And then he comes back and something else get hurt, because a lot of times you can have an injury that is on one part of your body. You come back and, you know, everything isn't where it needs to be, or you come back a little bit too soon and then something else get hurt because it's overcompensating for that area. So that's the only reason why I say in theory, it's not as simple as just look at X amount of days and he can come back and it's that simple. I personally would rather him just go ahead and continue to sit out the rest of this year, like the plan was, because
Kyrie's got to come back too. I think he would be back.
Well, Kyrie is more open to coming back, and his injury wasn't as serious as Durant's. We already have seen when that whole, well, man, you want your star players out there, man. I want to see Durant. We saw how that turned out for him in the NBA Finals. We saw that. And we saw. And we
going out like a warrior, though, man.
Okay, you see what that got him, right?
I know. I wouldn't have blamed him for sitting out. It's his decision, but
everybody was big on, hey man, get him back out there. Don't say they weren't.
I think
everybody was big on it, man.
If anyone was in Durant's position, they would have played.
I'm just simply saying, you saw what that got him. They protected Klay from himself because Klay was another one. Torn ACL was going to stay out there. Remember that? We saw him run down the court. Man, I'm ready to go. You saw what that could have done. So all I'm simply saying is, man, in these type of situations, sometimes, man, be smart. Think long term. That's all I'm saying, man.
This could be a good opportunity for him, though.
What's the opportunity?
Where the seating is not going to matter at all.
Okay.
And this whole scenario levels the playing field a little bit.
So let's be real. Are the Nets a finals contender right now?
If him and Kyrie came back, yes.
After him sitting out a whole year, his first competitive basketball.
It's Durant, dude. It's Durant.
I don't want to hear it's just Durant.
They're going to have 8 regular season games for a ramp up, and they're going to have this whole 2-month period. So that's different even than him coming back in the middle of a regular season.
Please help me understand. This is more than enough for you.
What do you mean?
2 months. He hasn't played a basketball. He ain't played basketball all year. He just started getting back out there shooting on the court this year. Was that January when they posted the video of him finally getting back out there running around, right? And now you're ready to take him and put him in a competitive, because it's different. We talked about this. We haven't seen him in a one-on-one set. We haven't seen him in a 5-on-5 setting. It's a difference between the controlled environment of, hey, man, run to the elbow, catch the ball, dribble, shoot. That's different than, all right, now we're going to actually play defense and you're going against a Joel Embiid, or you're going against a Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're going against these type of guys, offense and defense. And let's be real. If Durant comes back, you're not going to want to see him play a couple of minutes here and there and be smart. No, you're going to want him out there. No. You're going to want him out there. When the playoffs start, after those 8 games, it's only 8 games. It's not that long. So after them 8 games could be done in 2 weeks. Let's be real about it. So once that's done, you're going to want to see him out there. You're going to be like, man, you out here, man, play.
It's completely up to them and the team.
Come on, man.
It'd be better for him to be out there than not, in my opinion.
Come on, man.
I just don't get...
You don't care about these players, man. You don't care about these players at all, man. Cool.
I just don't see what the risk is if...
What?
It's going to be 400 days where the average time span...
You don't see the risk.
The average time span was 269 days for these guys.
If anybody should understand
400 days.
If anybody should understand the risk, it's Durant, because he is a victim of that. Coming back too soon. He's a victim of that. If the plan was, hey, you sitting out the rest of the season, that's the plan, period.
Hold on. So I think you might be getting mixed up with what I'm saying.
I'm not getting mixed up, man.
No.
I understand the 400 days. I hear all that.
What he decides, he could decide. I don't care about that. I don't think the Nets should hold him back. If he wants to play, let him play.
I think you have to protect the player from themselves if that's the case.
See, that's where we disagree.
Well, yeah, because you already said, you haven't said this, but in theory, if Ben were to have a concussion, but you know what, man, it's fourth quarter, I need you, you'll put him back out there.
I don't know when I said that.
I said you probably didn't say it verbatim like that, but I know you're on the edge. You would edge on the side of, man, get him back out there. If he say he's good, get him back out there.
I don't know. There's too much at play there. Where?
What do you mean?
I don't know what type of conversations are going on behind the scenes. I don't know what Ben's feeling. I don't know these things.
Stop it, bro. But you don't even care about that with Durant, obviously.
What do you, dude? I just don't see the risk. I just laid it out to you. 400 days versus 269 day average time span. Plus, you're getting a 2-month whole break right here where he can practice, do the training camp, 8 regular season games.
Okay.
I just don't think it's as risky as people might think.
Okay, but there is a risk in there, correct?
It's risk for anyone. Risk for anyone.
So if you are Durant, you're just coming back from missing a whole season because of you listening to people that, hey man, it's a risk, but it's a risk for anybody.
It's got to be a question. If you're gonna do that,
why you even why go down that route again?
If he's completely healthy, why not? If he's completely healthy,
okay.
That's my question to you. I mean, obviously, if there's some type of nagging,
it's cool, man. You don't
if
care
there's something nagging him,
so you mean to tell me you don't think that there is any lingering, any residual from blowing out your Achilles a year later, you don't think it's any residual? Because the same way you look. No, wait a minute.
I'm looking at these stats, dude. I'm looking at these facts.
Now, okay, I'm glad you said that. So you looked up the statistical part, right? The how many days they missed part, right? Did you look up the interviews that they took after during that season where they still have all said the same thing, football included, where they're like, yo, even when I came back, I still wasn't all the way healthy. Yes, I was cleared, but I still wasn't 100% where I was. It took me probably 2 years for me to really feel good, 100% able to do everything that I could do beforehand. All of them have said that. But of course, not everybody wants to talk about that because that doesn't fit the whole, hey, X amount of days is good to go. It never works like that. It never does. When they tell you you're healthy, you're technically cleared, you are not, man. You still feel the lingering. You still feel the residual. You still have scar tissue that's going to be breaking up. Trust me, he's going to have scar tissue breaking up for the next 2 years.
Wait, then why doesn't he sit out for 2 to 3 years? Then why don't these guys sit out for 2 to 3 years? Because
they tell you, every time they tell you you're cleared. You know, man, when I hurt my knee, I tore my MCL, I tore my LCL. They told me I was clear at 4 weeks. I still couldn't even cut. You're clear though. You're good. And you put a brace on and you go back out there. You put, hey, man, dislocate your elbow. Hey, man, tell you, man, a week later, man, you clear, man, you got to go back out there. You still don't think you feel that? A year later, you do. High ankle sprain, same concept, 4 to 6 weeks. You go back, that man, you do not feel the same. I felt the high ankle sprain 2 years later. That's just how it is. So when you're telling me that it's not a risk, oh, man, man, he's good to go. It's for X amount of days. It still isn't enough
What's the
time.
Difference between him coming back during the regular season if it was a 300-day layoff? Bro, you know what I mean?
The thing, though, if you're looking at it, man, when you look at
what's the difference between him coming back and Boogie Cousins coming back last year?
Right? So this is the thing. If it was going to be a traditional offseason, right, and this would be a traditional season coming up, the reason why he wouldn't play at all this past season, you would have him play next season because over the 82 games, he's not going to come out and play 82 games. We're talking an 8-game season, 8-game regular season, and then playoffs. You know how condensed that is? There is no gradual buildup. You're right into it right now. That's the difference. When I got 82 games, I got time. Okay, let's see how you're on this night. All right, cool. Take a couple nights off. All right, see how you're on that. Okay, cool. I bet. All right, increase your workload a little bit. Okay, and by then your body continues to acclimate through the duration of a season. And now when it's playoff time, now you're good. Boogie Cousins last year, remember, he didn't come out there at the beginning of the season. Remember, it took time. It was like, okay, after the break, now we're going to get you ready. That's going to be the vibe. That's going to be the plan. That's the concept. When we're talking 8 games and then playoffs, you don't have that luxury. You don't have the luxury of, hey, Durant, come on and play this game right here. All right, chill. How you feel? All right, come on and play that game. Chill. How you feel? Because after that, it's playoffs. It's time to go. And you already know the intensity is only going to keep getting higher and higher and higher. So now instead of him being able to have the proper time to build his body back up to a competitive status, not you're cleared to go status, because cleared to go versus playing competitively are drastically different. So until you get to that point, that's why for me, I'm like, I don't see the benefit of him going out there in this situation because it's only setting him up for failure. That's why. He hasn't done anything in a competitive 5-on-5 environment. So now you're going to give him 2 months to, number one, get back in shape, right? Because let's be real, they haven't been able to get in shape. So he has to get back in shape. That's number one. While at the same time getting his Achilles ready to go. And at the same time, hoping that nothing else breaks down in the process of doing those two things, because at the same time, your body's going to be overcompensating because of that Achilles having to catch up to speed. That's a lot of variables. And now you're talking about 8 games on top of that because, hey, it's quick. It's time to go. And then playoffs, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, personally.
If he feels like he's ready, he should go.
And that's why I say if that's the case, if he feels he's ready to go, as a team, you should protect him from himself.
I don't know, dude. I just think it's going to be 400 days, it's different, 2 months.
We talked about how my perspective of players and how I value them as a whole body is different than how a lot of people, sometimes we talked about this with the AB situation, how even when AB was going off his rocker and I said, man, this is dangerous where he's headed, people were still like, man, I don't care about all that, just let him play. And I'm like, bro, you don't care about him as a person if you want him to play because you already see where this is going with him. And after we had that conversation, that's when you were like, you know what, you're right. Yeah, I care about him if he's mentally good, then have him back out there. Prior to that, everybody was on this kick, man, just get him back out there. So for me, when I tell you I value the player as a person first, as a human first, like sports are cool, great, absolutely. But I'm not about to risk that, man. I don't want to pump that because of my person. Oh, I can't wait to see this dude play. Like, that's selfish.
I don't know. I don't want to really dictate how people live their lives, though.
Come on, man. Don't try to do that, man.
I mean, with the AB situation, I mean, if he wants to play, play.
And sometimes you got to say person for yourself. That's the whole purpose of, remember, the independent neurologist for concussions, because players would have a concussion and they would say, well, he want to play. He said he's good to go. Get him back out there. And they're doing more damage for themselves than they could even imagine because, hey, they got that pride, right? I'm going out on my shield. Sometimes you have to protect the person from themselves. No different in boxing. This guy's getting absolutely destroyed. Throwing the towel. No, let me go back out there. Boy, you can't even see right now. Your eye hanging out. No, I'm going back out there. You got to protect him from himself sometime. If that's the case, if he feels like that, you got to protect him from himself.
No, I'm good with that perspective.
You're not good with that perspective, man. You just said you're not. You just said he's good to go put him out there.
I lean more that way.
No, you don't, man. Stop that.
I lean more and live and let live. You let things be. And I get that perspective. And it's probably a good reason you have people like that out there who are willing to do that type of stuff.
It's all good, man.
I'm not the type of person to be doing that. That's all. That's all, man.
So by you saying you're not the type of person to be doing that, you just justify what I just said then.
Huh?
You just said I'm not the same person to do that.
But there is truth on my side, too. If you're trying to control everything, there might be certain things you're missing out on. That's all.
No, we're talking about health. Health is different.
I'm just talking to the extremes on both sides.
But this is not an extreme. This is just simple. This is health. We're just talking health.
Could it be? I don't know.
We're just talking health.
I don't know.
That's it. I'm sure you were in the finals. Hey, man, get Durant back out there. He's good to go.
I was not. I actually wasn't. We could go back and check the tape. I told him it'd be smart for him not to.
Okay.
I swear to God, I have that tape where I said, dude, if you're thinking long term, it's smart not to play.
But this is different.
No, it's not. No, you don't get my. I'm saying if I'm Durant and I want to play, don't hold me back from playing.
He wanted to play in the finals too. You think they should have held him back?
No.
And we saw that got him there.
No, because that was his decision.
And you saw what he got him. That's all I'm saying.
He's not on the team anymore either.
But you saw what he got him though, right? A blown Achilles and no ring.
Dude, I think most competitors would have done that. Finals game.
Okay.
Championships on the line. Legacy on the line.
Klay Thompson had a blown ACL and he was still going to play. So clearly, you're right. But you have to protect. If the player won't protect themselves, sometimes you have to step in and protect them. If you care about the person, if you don't, wait, man, hey, go back.
I don't know.
I
think that's an extreme though. Saying caring about a person.
Why did they take Klay out? Why did they take Klay out? Klay was ready to go. He was bouncing up and down with the torn ACL. Shot the free throw. Why'd you take him out?
I don't know. You're just trying to be smart about things. You're trying to weigh a bunch of factors.
It's the finals though, right? Legacy on the line.
Dude,
Klay said he wanted to go. Klay ran back down the court and let's go. Remember, he was bouncing.
Aren't we saying that's a little more black and white with
How?
Klay just experienced that ACL right there. Durant
and Klay was ready to go still. Klay said, no, I want to play. I'm good. You saw him. Klay said, I'm ready to go. Keep me in. I'm good. He did not want to get subbed out. You just said if Durant said he's good and wants to go, put him back out there. We saw he was not healthy.
The Durant and Klay situation was different though.
How?
Because Durant injured that way before and was still trying to come back.
He still wasn't ready though. We all knew he wasn't ready. We said, man, this is going to be tight. Him trying to come back is going to be tight. We all said that.
Klay just injured that ACL.
Klay said he was fine.
On the spot.
Klay said he was fine. He said he was fine, right? You just said if the player says he's fine, I don't want to be in control of the guy. Live and let live. Take your chances and all that good stuff, man.
No,
that's what you just said.
That's not it. It's a difference between just saying you're fine and being reckless about it. Then, all right, there's actual stats for this. 400 days, the layoff.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Durant and Klay's injury was different. Yeah. Durant injured, what was it, his Achilles, whatever that was. It was like a slight Achilles thing. Or like
no. Remember, they said it was no Achilles.
I don't know what it was.
They said it was his calf, and now then when the Achilles blew, then it was like, all right, it might have had some Achilles in it. And that was the whole mystery around it. Is it a calf? Is it Achilles? They weren't saying anything publicly about it.
But he injured that weeks or months. It might have been a month or so. Okay. It was in that Rocket series, I think, right? He injured that prior and was given weeks layoff of trying to rehab and get ready to go.
That's
as opposed to
much time still.
I'm not saying it is or not, but that's different than just.
I'm sure somebody looked and said, "Man, you've been out for this many days. You good to go." I'm sure somebody said that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he had his own guys.
Mm-hmm. No, actually, he was using the team guys because remember that's when Iggy came on the offseason and criticized the Warriors training staff. Because Iggy said, man, I was playing with he said he had a stress fracture and they were telling him, oh, you're good. It's a little strain. You can play with that. And he criticized him on that as well. And that's why I say, well, hey, man, sometimes, okay, if you care about this person, then you should step in. But clearly, what the Warriors staff was doing wasn't the best. And that's from Iggy, not from my mouth, it's from Iggy's mouth.
Okay. But either way, it's just different. That type of injury is different in how it happened.
I think we can agree to disagree there, man.
Day of an ACL happening versus weeks layoff. Durant. It was Durant's decision at the end of the day to come back. And
Clay don't get that luxury, though. We've seen players in the NFL finish games with torn ACLs. We've seen that.
I don't know, man.
We've seen it.
I don't know, dude.
We've seen it.
It's on We've Durant. Seen it. I'd say let Durant do it.
Who was the quarterback? Man. Was it Phillip Rivers, maybe?
Yeah,
it was Phillip Rivers, yeah.
Chargers, so Patriots game.
Yeah. What's the difference in that then? They let him finish that. What's the difference?
I don't know, man.
He said, I'm good to go. I'm ready. I can play. I'm good.
I don't know, dude.
So what's the difference?
I don't know, man. Different organizations, different people. There's a lot of factors. It's not this black or white thing where it's that simple.
I just err on the side of caution when it comes to people's health. That's all.
That's fine.
Yeah,
understood.
That's where we differ.
And I don't know, dude. I'm giving you the facts and the stats that I'm saying there.
I'm with you, bro.
There is a little bit too. There's some caution here, but at the same time,
it's all good, man. We could agree to disagree.
All right,
we could agree to disagree.
Right,
I ain't tripping. I'm not tripping, man.
It's not a big deal, and the
Nets aren't winning no way. It doesn't matter.
I would put them in the championship.
I would not. I'm going to take a healthy Giannis who's been out there all year over the Bucks. Over the Nets.
KD, Kyrie.
I might even take the Sixers over them. I might even take the Celtics over them. I might even take the Raptors over them.
You know how I am. It's KD, man.
I don't care. I don't care, man.
It's KD.
I don't care. That's a name right now. Until he comes back and proves that he could be KD on this short condensed season, I don't want to hear it, man. I'm taking all them other teams I just named over there. So he gonna come back, risk it even more, and then still get beat. Probably get swept. I don't even care. Because what big win has KD done without step? No, yeah. Why we on the conversation of his KD? Don't give me his KD because what he did with Golden State. Give me KD what he did with OKC. Talk to me. Talk to me. We haven't seen him without a superstar Robin. We haven't seen that. So please help me know. Help me understand. Help me understand what KD looks like. I've seen it with one of the superstars. I've seen it with Russell Westbrook. Okay, so Kyrie is the new Westbrook. Okay, cool. Fine. And you saw what that did. What big winner did they have? What big winner did KD do then?
I'm taking Kyrie over Westbrook. I'm telling you that right
now. That's fine. Okay, but what about when he had Westbrook and Harden?
That was early in that run.
They were still on ice.
And then they were still on ice. I think they only gave him 3 years to even
they were still
play
on
that
ice.
Out, and then they
were still
Harden.
on ice. They went to a finals. Didn't do no big winning.
Durant was really young in his career then.
Bron wasn't?
No, he was in his prime. That was the Heat, dude.
Oh my god.
That was the Heat when he won.
Now KD was young then?
Yes.
Oh my god.
What do you mean? Dude, he had to have been like 22 or 23 at that time.
Bro. It's cool. And how old was LeBron doing then?
He was in his prime at the Heat.
No. You say he had to be 22, 23. How old was Bron? 24, 25 max?
Oh, hell no. He was probably 28, 29.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay,
dude, he's 35 right now.
Okay, cool, man. He's been in the league for how many years too?
It's got to be 15? He came in 03, right?
Came in at what? 18?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's 35 right now. So when he was on the Heat, he was like 28, 27, 28, 29.
Okay.
So I think that year he was around 28, 29.
Either way, what big winning has KD done without Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green?
Are you a KD hater here?
I'm not. I just want to hear what big winning he's done. Please help me out. That's your argument all the time, right? The big winning. Help me understand.
He's done big winning.
What big winning he's done by himself.
I've seen clutch moments.
When? Outside of Golden State, what clutch moments have you seen? I've seen a 3-1 choke. I've seen a finals massacre.
I wasn't the biggest advocate for KD going to the Warriors. I wasn't completely against it because, like I said, I'm a live and let live guy. I'm a live and let live guy. You know, do what you want.
Okay.
Whatever's best for your career, you got to do. I'm not going to complain with that. Yes. So he went to join the Warriors, and he was the man on those Warriors. He was hands down. He was hands down the best player.
And listen, man, I don't have any issue with him joining the Warriors and go ahead and destroying. Like, I love it. Like, I'm all for super teams. That's my thing. That's why I love Alabama. I love to see teams go out there and just steamroll everyone. I love it.
Their run's gotten old. Them and Clemson, it's gotten old. We need some new teams.
Why?
We need Pitt, dude. We need Pitt to. No, but back to KD.
We need Pitt. Wow.
I know what KD is, dude. He's a top 20 player of all time, top 15 player of all time. Oh,
absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So the whole big winning thing, he's done big winning. And
by himself, when?
No one's done it by themselves.
Okay, Fredo, without Golden State, when?
I could say that with any player. Though.
Except LeBron?
I could say that with any... Oh, no. If we're doing a LeBron versus KD, I'm taking LeBron.
Okay, cool.
I'm saying KD makes the finals, though.
I'm saying he doesn't.
Actually, that's a stretch. That's a hot take.
It's not happening, bro.
That is a hot take.
It's not happening.
I'm not feeling confident about that, but I will say it.
Would you put money on it?
For the hell of it, yes.
No, not just laughing around money. I'm talking like some substantial money on it.
Who are you feeling good about in the East, though?
For me, if I was going to put money down, I'm either going to put money down on the Raptors or I would go Bucks. Yes. Those would be the two teams I put money on.
Raptors. Oh, man. I can't stand that team, dude.
Why? Because they just, no superstars, just super consistent.
Yep. Yeah, I can't stand Van Fleet, dude.
Wow. The power of the dad. Stop that, man.
Well, here's what happened.
The dad power, man. Siakam, man. I'm with all that, baby. I love it.
I made a bet against the Raptors in the middle of last season, and I had no clue.
Didn't you lose money to somebody? No. Who did you? I mean,
in the finals.
I know you lost to me. I know you lost to me.
The Warriors versus the Raptors.
You know what I'm saying?
We know what happened there, though.
Yeah, you're right. You saw what happened. Yeah, the Raptors
Injuries.
With that team ball took over. Yeah, Injuries. You're right. Yeah.
Injuries.
Shout out to load management, baby.
But I think it was a Rockets-Raptors game. Mm-hmm. I bet on the Rockets for whatever reason. Yeah. And I didn't really know much about the Raptors roster. Obviously, Kawhi and whoever. I think it was Siakam, a couple players. Mm-hmm. But then I'm watching this dude, Van Fleet, just take over the game.
Yeah.
And
that had to be late in the year. That was post-baby. When he had that baby, it changed it, man.
No, this is what I mean. This was probably his best game in the regular season.
Oh, okay.
And then he fell off a little bit. Yes. And in the finals, he did amazing. Mm-hmm. Which, that's what made me really mad. It was this dude that came out of nowhere and put his name on the map, for me at least. I'm like, who the hell is this Van Fleet?
Yeah.
He's not doing anything rest of the season. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, finals, it just made me even more mad.
Come on, man. Don't hate on my dog like that, man. I'm not even a Raptors guy.
Respect to him, though. But, I'll give the respect. But
yeah, I'm a LeBron fan, but I like the Knicks, even though I got a Celtics hat on just because I like how the logo looks.
NBA is different. We've talked about this. NBA is different in terms of the type of stuff you could wear for NBA. Yes. There's no team here. I mean, there was no team in
Buffalo either. Yes,
well, Virginia. I mean, were you a Wizards guy or
not
Washington? No. Okay.
When Jordan came there, it was like, all right, I get your shoes, but that's not Jordan anymore. That's Michael.
Okay,
it's different.
So you didn't have any affiliation.
Nah.
Then? Okay.
And plus, like, just to clarify, anybody from the 757, which is tied with the area of Virginia, nobody from that area likes anybody from DC or Maryland. Okay. It's just It's just kind of like a Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Like, you think, oh man, we're from Pittsburgh. Y'all must like the Eagles, huh? Y'all like the Eagles? Nah, not a chance. Like, I don't care about anything in Philadelphia. You know,
you guys just like whatever sports team you like, for whatever reason,
right? Mm-hmm. Or you'll have guys that might rock with the Panthers because we're actually like closer to that area than you would technically be to like the DC area.
Really?
But nobody really likes the DC like that, man. Nah, we good on that, man.
Okay, gotcha.
We good on that, y'all. DC folk, nothing against DC and Maryland people, nothing against all that, but y'all Northern Virginia too. Y'all just the DMV. You hear that all the time. Right? He's from the DMV. Where we're from, we don't rock DMV. That's y'all, not us. We 757. It's a little different.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, we good on NBA there?
Yeah, man. Either way, it's gonna be exciting.
Anything else?
It's gonna be exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Wait, is there anything with the KD thing like that we're missing here? You brought up the whole.
You the one who brought it up. This was your take. You came in here and said.
No, you brought up the big winning though, like trying to discredit KD.
He doesn't have any. Which big winning has he done without the supers, like the All-Star team? He had the West All-Star team.
Who are we comparing him to? Because he's the second best player in the NBA.
I don't care about where we're ranking him. I'm just gonna be saying him by himself. I haven't seen him do it by himself in terms of not having the stacked Golden State roster. When I look at him in OKC, that would be equivalent of by himself. It would just be him and Westbrook. If he does anything with Kyrie, I still equate that to by himself because it's just those two. It's not you got 4 All-Stars in the starting 5. Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, okay. I can't roll with that. Or and if you want to throw in Iguodala, it's like technically Iggy was an all-star before even getting to the Warriors. Not to mention he has a Finals MVP. So I don't want to hear that either. Like that to me, that's not by yourself. That's with a whole squad. Like, yeah, people want to compare. Well, Bron, he had Bosch and D Wade, and we said numerous times he probably had healthy D Wade. maybe 2 seasons. After that, we said D Wade was looking like he was on his last leg for a little while.
So are you questioning if he can do it or not? Is that?
I'm not questioning if he can do it or not. I'm just simply saying, has he done any big winning? It's a simple question. That's it. Has he? Has he? You tell me, has he?
I don't know.
Because you're quick to bring up big winning. You know exactly what it means. Bills ain't gonna do no big winning. That team ain't gonna do no big winning. So I'm asking you, Deke. I'm asking you, Eric D. Clavin it.
Here's the problem. Whenever I'm talking big winning, that's my trust in that team. I have no trust in the Bills at all.
Okay.
No trust. Okay. I don't think they're going to. Titans, throw them in there as well. I have trust in KD.
Okay. On the next.
I don't care what he's done in the past. There's reasons I have trust in KD.
Okay.
I've seen him do it in big moments.
You saw him in Golden State.
I saw him in Golden State.
I saw
him in OKC. Dude, he played really good in OKC.
He was doing his thing at OKC.
He was awesome.
But he didn't do big winning at OKC. When did you ever feel outside of the 3-1 series, the 3-1 series versus the Warriors, outside of that, when did you really say, you know what, man, they could legit win it all out in OKC?
Are we going to say the Thunder screwed them, perhaps?
Now you're seeking comfort.
The Thunder screwed them.
Now you're seeking comfort.
Perhaps Westbrook wasn't the best teammate.
You're seeking comfort. I don't want to hear about all that. I don't care about all that. That's an excuse. Westbrook was still balling.
There's a reason he left the Warriors, though. And you're
right.
He's got that mentality where, you know what, I'm going to prove to all you guys I could do this myself.
That's what that was?
Why not take a little vacay and go to the Warriors?
That's what that was? I'm going to prove I can do it by myself if we go to the Warriors?
No, leaving the Warriors.
Oh, okay. I thought you said when he left OKC, he was trying to take the I can do it by myself thing. Let's go to, go to state.
Yeah, you could say it's a similar path to LeBron. Not the same. I think LeBron is better.
Different. Yes.
Drastically different? No, just the concept of I'm going to this team. I want to learn some stuff.
Okay.
I'm taking that and I'm going somewhere else and doing it myself.
I'm not following.
It's completely not the same where LeBron, Wade, and Bosch teamed up. They were all on separate teams.
Correct.
The Heat wasn't a powerhouse beforehand.
The Warriors had already been to 2 finals prior to Durant getting there and had already won 1.
Yeah, no, I agree. They already had
the best regular season in NBA history. Shout out to LeBron James, though.
Just the standpoint of jumping teams and, I'm going here, I'm win a couple championships. Okay. Now I'm taking all that and I'm going to go do it myself. That's the similar path I'm talking about. I'll take LeBron's path over KD's. Yes. I respect LeBron's path over KD's a little bit more, but like I said, live and let live, and KD does what he does. It's fine.
Either way, the Nets aren't winning anything. They're not doing any big winning this year, regardless of if Durant and Kyrie come out. I don't care. They're not doing any big winning. Period. Wow. And I'm willing to double down on the money on that one. Wow. And that's for any of the viewers out there on YouTube.
Dude, we'll bet on that. If KD comes,
if
KD and Kyrie come back, whatever.
This year, for these 8 games, not because the full 82 is different.
They'll play one of the top 2 teams.
Yeah, they would
in the playoffs first round. We could bet on that.
Absolutely,
I'll take KD and Kyrie.
If they come back, sure, absolutely. If they don't, I don't want to hear next year with the 82 game because that's totally different. They didn't have a full off season together and all that other nonsense. I'm talking if now this obviously hinges on if they both come back. Because I know you're going to say, well, Kyrie came back, but not Durant, or Durant came back and not Kyrie. And now
we're not going to bet
year. We're not doing it. It has to be them both.
Yeah, it does.
But if they both come back, man, I put the top dollar down, baby. They're not doing no big winning. They will not be in the finals. Period. That's how I feel about it. And I don't care. We can talk whatever.
They would, see, that first round matchup's going to be tough.
I don't care.
I think they got a chance, dude. I really do.
They will not be in the finals.
I think they definitely got a chance.
And they will not be in the finals.
As good of a chance as anyone.
They will not be in the finals.
That's fine. Yep. We'll see if it happens.
It won't.
Because this is a lot of speculation.
It won't happen, though. But it's cool. It won't happen.
Okay, man. Okay. Okay, dude. I'm gonna back my side and
trust me, man. Hey, man, my pocket's long, baby. I'm ready for whatever. You and anybody out there in YouTube world and podcast world, y'all know where I'm at, baby. Come find me. Yeah. Let's put the money on it.
I wonder if it could be a big group bet or something.
It can, man. Everybody collect yours, and I'm gonna put mine, and then we go in, and there's gonna be a lot of y'all Cash App me, PayPal me, Venmo me. If you need to write a check, make sure it's a certified cashier check. I don't want your money bouncing. I don't need none of that funny stuff. All right, and it's got to be U.S. dollars. I don't take euros. I don't take any of the Canadian, the color money and the toonies and all that. I don't want none of that. Nah, just throwing it out there.
Okay, man.
Big talk.
I'm excited. I hope it does happen.
I do too now because now I'm ready to go ahead and
I was going to say, we just had this whole conversation. Now, I think...
You know how I'm feeling, man.
I think my my annoyance and my persistence has flipped your tune, actually.
I want them. Bring them on out here because I can get paid. Bring them on out here. I'm trying to get this paper. Period. That's how I feel about it.
You don't care about these athletes, dude. Come on.
Hey, man.
Come on,
hey, let's go. It's about the money. Let's go. You want to talk paper? Let's talk paper there, man. Bring one out here. Let's go. Yeah. And I don't want to hear if he gets hurt. I don't want to hear that either. That's not an excuse. Finals, because he will not be in the finals. I don't care.
Yeah, if he plays game 1 of the regular season, bet is on.
Bet is on, period.
Well, no, he's got to play the playoffs, not regular season.
Yeah, because the 8 games, I don't care about the 8 games. I want playoffs.
Okay.
Playoffs. And whatever happens. Let the chips fall where they may. And like I said, you got 30 days to pay me my money. I give you the same way when I invoice the different companies I work with, you get 30 days. 30 days.
I mean, we could do dinner or something like that, right?
No, I want your money.
Okay.
I want your money.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because see, with the dinner, we already talked about we don't know if I'm going to have to go in there with a mask on. Do I got to sit outside?
I think that's ending soon.
I don't know. A lot of places are allowing people to go. I mean, right now, I think this weekend, a lot of stuff in Pittsburgh will technically be open for you to go to. But everything is requiring you to wear a mask. So that's the only issue.
I mean, it just seems foolish going to a restaurant or something.
That's what it says, though.
With a mask.
It literally, I'm telling you. You got to just walk. Don't go downtown right now. I don't recommend that. Go to Wexford, all right? Or Bridgeville or somewhere on the outskirts, all right?
Yeah.
And just walk down their little strip, wherever their restaurants, wherever their stores are, anything. And you will see mask required. Period.
Man.
Yeah.
Ohio's good. I think West Virginia's cleared too. So I was actually thinking about that this week, and I might go up to Ohio and shop at their mall or something like that.
Now, do they have to wear masks there? Because I know in Pittsburgh, I was saying in Pittsburgh, everything put a mask.
That's what I mean. I'd go up to Ohio because I need some new fits, dude. It's summertime. I really need some new fits, so man. I might go up to Ohio.
All right.
And I'm not a mask guy.
All right. Now I'm getting a little nervous.
Come on, dude.
That's all I'm saying. I'm getting a little nervous now, man. Get a little nervous.
I'll keep my space, man.
I get a little nervous. But yeah, man. So with the NFL,
yes,
we did have some news with that as well, man. So this week, the NFL said that all training camps, first off, will be held at their team's facility. So when you're thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers going to St. Vincent, that's not happening. The Buffalo Bills going to St. John Fisher, that's not happening. The Arizona Cardinals going out to Glendale, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. Everything has to be at your facilities. For me, I understand why they're doing it in terms of the health and safety.
Yeah, you kind of got to. There's no surprise.
Well, why, man? I mean, I think you just go to Ohio. You ain't got to wear no mask, but you be good to go. That's what you said, right? What's the difference? What's the difference? Yeah. What's the difference, baby? Let's go, Deke.
These leagues and organizations are a little bit more PR savvy than this.
Yeah. That's all. All right. So in that regard, I definitely understand from a health and safety standpoint, man. It will. I mean, I see the pros and cons to it. First off, from the player perspective, I would be jumping for joy because I hate when we talk training camp, there are benefits to it in terms of the fan element. Absolutely. Dino, Sharky's talking about when you're going over to St. Vincent College and stuff like that. I mean, that's awesome. The staff there is great. They do a phenomenal job. The amenities in terms of the housing is different because you're sleeping in a dorm. You're living in a dorm for essentially 1 month. And yeah, it's a twin size dorm bed. You got dorm carpet. You got dorm amenities. I mean, it is what it is. Imagine you go from wherever you're living at right now and back to the college dorm, size included. It's different. Sharing a bathroom is different. Some guys got roommates. It's different. So in that regard, I'm not necessarily opposed to training camp being held at your facility because I'm either getting a hotel room or I get to sleep in my own house, which I'm good on either one of those. But from a team bonding standpoint, that's the thing I think really affects the lack of being able to leave for training camp. You're not going to be able to have the guys isolated, only focusing in on football and building a rapport with each other. Because when you're at home, you're able to have the different distractions, family, children, friends. It's a different level of access when you're at home versus when you're stuck on a campus with security and just by location alone. Because I mean, most of the places where you're having the training camp at is usually 45 to an hour away from your hometown, wherever your team is at. So in that department just alone right there, it makes it difficult to get some of the distractions in, you know? So in that factor, man, I do see that potentially being the negative element of not having training camp. And then obviously, like we said, the fan interaction. I mean, especially in Pittsburgh, people make Steelers training camp like a vacation. Like that's big for them. That's a destination thing. I mean, I was, very fortunate to be able to meet thousands of Steelers fans at training camp coming from all over the world. I mean, Mexico, Europe. It doesn't matter. I mean, like, they're like, I traveled this far. I came by bus. I came by boat. I came by plane. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like, for training camp, for practice?
Yeah.
Jeez, we would have been hitting today. But I think that's an awesome atmosphere. And I think that part is going to suck as well. But if that's what it takes, like I said, to get the sports back in the safest way for them to protect all the players and the coaches and the staff, I'm for it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's funny you mentioned the fans' journeys. And I guess I always knew this growing up, or I don't know if I took it for granted, but I was even doing some research, and it does definitely seem like a Mecca journey for some people. I mean, I've been there, I don't know, 3-4 times growing up. For
Steeler fans,
it's been stretches of years where I just haven't gone up. You hit it on the head
with the Mecca. You hit it.
No, it does. Dude, and it's unfortunate for fans that like doing
it's a rite of
passage
stuff for them, man.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, it seems like this was really not a surprise. Yeah. If the NFL is just going to caution on the side of safety, if this is what they think is going to be best, then yeah, why not? Now, the question is there any other, is there any silver lining to this in terms of the play or the team bonding? Because we are missing out on that type of stuff that you mentioned, being in a campus together, a college together, and that unity and really locking in. Is there any silver lining or potential positive that could be brought about this in terms of the team, like in building that type of way?
Well, put it like this. Well, this is the biggest issue too, because I was going to say traditionally the things that you could do to offset that are the trips to Devin Busch, which here in Pittsburgh, Coach Tomlin, every year during OTAs, he makes sure that one practice will be canceled so the team could go to Devin Busch, so you could just have a bonding element where you could just strictly focus on chemistry. Even at training camp, we have what they call the home run derby. So literally a practice would end, we would cancel our afternoon meetings and play baseball. And literally everybody's out there. Ben's hitting home runs. Kevin Colbert, the GM, is pitching.
No surprise.
Yeah, it is just fun. Even though I forgot who. And the thing is funny, I don't think he's ever won one though. It was some. I might say Rosie might have won one. It was just like it caught everybody off guard. Like what?
Is this with an actual ball? And
it's like legit baseball. Yeah.
Dobbs can bomb. Yeah. Was he killing it?
It's. I don't remember about Dobbs, because the thing is, it's like they'll have a full lineup and then it's like legit a home run derby. You have like multiple rounds of it. But we'd always laugh, like the people that you would assume would just crush it and be the best, a lot of times they suck. And then it's like just this guy, you're like, yo, I didn't know you play baseball. And then you find out, oh yeah, man, I was drafted in high school. Like, I wasn't good, but I was like, in the 30th round of the MLB, like, oh, okay.
I can play
okay, yeah. So I mean, it's and that's another thing where you're just able to bond. And obviously you got the rookie shows. Then we always do a job in terms of the veteran players. We'd all take turns catering food for the players after one of the meetings, where everybody's just going to come down and we'll have like Capitol Grill, Eddie Merlot's, something where, all right, we all have to just hang right here and eat and just, have that good rapport. So when you're missing out on that, that's going to be unique. And like I said, because everything isn't opened up in Pittsburgh, or we don't know what that's going to look like in terms of limitations on how many people can be in there and things like that, I think that does present some challenges. But knowing Coach Tomlin, man, he's creative. So if he needs to bring the party to, the South Side for the players, like in terms of at the facility, he'll definitely do that, because there's been times where we've found ways to get creative to have team building, where we had our trash can basketball tournaments. That was always awesome. Then we've done it where we've catered different food and have it in the meeting rooms and stuff like that. So it's always ways around it.
Anything because the facility down South Side, that's been changed to turf, correct?
Well, we have two. You have 2 grass fields, and then you have a turf field.
Never mind. Yeah. Because I was going to say, any difference to turf versus grass for training camp? Because obviously you practice and stuff during the season with turf. So from the only issue that's going to deal with the facility is you have to remember 90 guys, players. That's a lot. The Southside locker room isn't built for 90. So a lot of times when you have the 90 guys, you'll see they'll bring in like the removable lockers, and then they'll have about 20 chairs. Now, if you're in the 20 chair section, I better make a move, because those are the guys with the double jersey numbers. Like, oh, I'm 49. Oh, I'm 49 too. We both can't be 49. One of us gonna get cut soon. Those are those guys. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can rise from the ash, man. If you come out of there, it's like, yo, this guy rose from the slums and he's made it out, and he's a success story. I look at guys like I don't know. I don't want to say Terrence Garvin was in that seat, but like guys like who were
like the tryout guys, right? They didn't necessarily come in as like a preferred free agent or a priority free agent. So you look at Terrence Garvey, you look at a guy like Will Johnson, guys who've had very successful professional careers in the NFL. Those guys, I mean, they came in and they weren't the glamorous picks. They didn't have the glamour of, I got my locker already with my wooden name tag. Like, no, they had the paper name tags and stuff like that. Like, it's a difference. Mm-hmm. But if you rise from that, man, it's a whole nother level of respect. You like, yo, you a real one, baby. 1,000% respect for you, bro, because I know that's not easy. You getting 1 or 2 reps of practice and you better be dynamite on every time you out there, man. So it's a difference in that. But that's what the locker room was going to look like when you having 90 guys on the south side, just because it's not big enough. Whereas at St. Vincent, they have multiple locker rooms. Everybody's going to get a locker. Then it's more so, which locker room are you in? Are you in locker room 1 with the big dogs? Are you in all the way in the back in the smoking section? It's different. You know what I mean? So that's how you can just tell. But like you say, if you make it out the back locker room, some of them same guys I just named, man. I mean, shoot, Vince Williams, another guy. He made it out the back locker room. They talk about it, man. We was in the slums and we had to get it out of there. I don't get my credibility because I was in the slums in Buffalo. Yeah. When I got to Pittsburgh, they put me in the VIP section. I felt nice. I was over here drinking tea and eating crumpets. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was all love. We had a pinky up. You know what I mean? So it was a little different. But yeah, like I said, man, if you can make it out of that, man, you're a bad dude.
It seems like it's gonna feel pretty professional.
Yes.
It's almost going to be like during the season.
Yeah, basically.
You know? So, yeah, I guess definitely some things you're going to be missing out on. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just we got to win some games and play some good football. That's all that matters,
man. That's all that matters. Just win. I don't care how you get it done.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more of a self-accountability then with your off time.
Yeah.
And learning and studying the playbook and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
that's maybe going to be a big difference.
Yeah.
People that are good self-learning. I don't know. Is it completely self-learning whenever it is training camp or no?
The reason why you still have self-learning at training camp is just,
I'm sure that's just a natural thing. Once the
meetings are done, now you can either spend time staying in meetings longer with your coach or with some of the veteran players, or you go back to your room and you study in there. Whereas when you're back home, when you come home, you're not coming to the dorm room that's empty and you could study with no distraction. You're coming back to a wife, a girlfriend, significant other, children, family members that might be living with you or visiting, friends, neighbors. It's so much more in terms of distractions. And then also things to do. Latrobe is nice, but let's be real. Latrobe doesn't have the same amount of stuff in terms of entertainment that Pittsburgh does as a city.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing as well in terms of just the opportunity to do certain things and then the opportunity to just meet certain people. In terms of the population size, it's not as big in Latrobe as it is in Pittsburgh. So those are some of the other challenges that go along with that, man.
Yeah. I think we'll work it out.
Either way, man, Pittsburgh, man, it's simple, man. Bend back, that's all that matters. All right? Period. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was the last topic we had?
Man, so we wanted to talk about the big four, man, from the 2019 rookie class, man, in terms of them making this jump in year 2. What's it going to look like? But specifically, who do we anticipate making the bigger jump also? So we're talking about, obviously, Devin Busch, Deontay Johnson, Justin Lane, and Benny Snell. Those were the top 4 draft picks in that class. 3 of those guys saw a ton of action, and one guy being Justin Lane didn't see as much action. So with that, man, I think for Devin Busch, when I think of that year 2 jump, what does it look like? Less about the statistical element, but the 2 things that stand out that I would want to see is him being the green dot guy from a helmet standpoint. Because we talked about how last year, the green dot on the helmet, for those that don't know, that's the person that gets the call from the coach. Coach talks to him directly and he communicates the defense to everybody else that's on the field. He makes all the checks and all those things. So last year, multiple guys had it. So Mark Barron had it for a game or 2. TJ Watt had it for a game. I think Minka wore it for a game. You can only have one person on the defense with it. So it can't be multiple guys having it. And the issue is when you have one guy wearing it, you got to make sure he's out there 100% of the time, or the majority of the time, because if he's not, now
you're screwed.
Yeah, now you're having to go hand signals in. The difference is this. I can tell you the call. Hey, Deke, man, we running tight Sammy 33. All right, cool. I hand signal that to you. All right, cool. You going out there and that's what you're going to run. I can't tell you any other information. If you have the headset on, though, I could say, hey, Deke, we're going to run tight Sammy 33. I want you to look for the China concept on the weak side. If they come out here 3x1, look for the dig. And you can say, all right, bet. And now you know that. And now you're good to go. Or if I say, hey, look, man, we're going to run this blitz. Make sure Tua knows across the center. Now you can go ahead and tell him, hey, Tua across center. But if I'm hand signaling that in there to you because nobody has the mic, because the guy with the mic is standing next to me catching breath, we stuck. I got to just, all right, good luck.
Yeah.
That's the issue. You know what I mean? So I would love to see Devin Busch be the green dot guy. That's a huge step from a responsibility standpoint, from a communication standpoint as well, man. I think when you wear that green dot too, it solidifies you as the leader on that defense because everybody has to look to you. That's a big issue. So that'd be the first thing that I really want to see. And then the second thing is, man, last year Mark Barron was taking the lion's share of the coverage in terms of some of those mismatches, some of those names where we were all like, yo, he's always chasing the guy, man. It's tough. It's hard. That's a different element. It's a different animal. But as the roster stands today, that's going to be Devin Busch. Devin's going to be the guy taking those tight ends on, taking some of those slot receivers on. They're not going to ask Vince Williams to do that. So what I want to see from Devin is, okay, you stand up and you excel in that. Don't survive. I don't want you surviving. Surviving isn't good. I need you to excel. I need you to thrive in that moment. And it's not easy. And we saw early on, we talked about how he struggled early on. We talked about how like you could just watch him on tape. He was either overthinking it or just a step slow in some of these situations because it's tough. It's very tough. But that's the second part that I want to see from Devin in terms of that year two. What does that look like? The communication element of it and being able to just excel in coverage, man, because you're going to be asked upon that, especially right now as the roster sits.
Okay. Makes sense to me, dude. And my thing was just from a, fan standpoint, I'm sitting back, first round pick. He played really good last year. He's just going to make a jump. I don't know what that's going to be, but I think you laid it out pretty good there. Is there anything else that we could be missing that he could be doing, whether it's something maybe he was lacking this year or we just saying it was coverage completely? I don't know. What type of things will you be looking for maybe outside of the two things you said? I don't know if there's anything else because I'm just assuming he's going to make a jump no matter what.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I anticipate him making a jump. I think from a tackling standpoint, just off of the gifts that he's been blessed with, along with the guys that are out there with him, run defense isn't going to be an issue because a lot of times you can get away with, okay, you making a ton of tackles in run defense. You can do that just by the scheme or because you're excelling. Hey, I have this gift where I can be in the A gap, but if you bounce to the C gap, I can run out there and make that play. Devin has that. So I expect him to continue to excel in that. And even worst case, if he's like, yo, I'm messing up, he can always just stay in his gap. And the defense as a whole will be fine because in run defense, it's all about your gap. It's all about your gap. Whereas in coverage, that's one-on-one. That's, hey, we're on an island here. Regardless of what the defense is, when I'm in coverage, I can't rely on you, Deke, to make this play for me. I got to make this play. I have to guard this guy. That's why I have a lot more of my my onus and my focus on that element of it. Because, like I said, from a run defense standpoint, I expect him to still excel in that department. And then we know if him and Vince Williams are out there, Vince is going to be the guy blitzing. So I don't even anticipate him blitzing a lot. You know what I mean? Because he's going to be asked to be in a lot more coverage situations. So I think for me, man, that's what those two are. They are where they are, you know?
Yeah, because I think it's just going to happen. I mean, from my perspective, it's going to be Pro Bowl, hopefully.
Better be.
Stats up, and you're just going to be able to see it off the screen and making some impact plays. I like you bringing up the whole green dot thing. Did Shazier get that in his second year?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and it was a big deal because prior to that, Timmons was wearing it, but Timmons was struggling with it because it is a lot. Because you have to think about this, man. When you're on the field, especially at the linebacker position, you're running all over. You get winded. And now, on top of being winded, coach is trying to talk to you, and he's talking fast. You only got 15 seconds. Now he talks to you. You're still trying to catch your breath. Now I got to communicate it to the defense what the call is. On top of, okay, now let me get my keys of what my job is, along with, okay, instead of me just knowing, hey, I got the B gap here, and I got three. I'm dropping in the middle of the field on the hook. Nah, it's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be, okay, I already know my assignment. I already communicated the defense. What's the offense lined up in? Oh, they're in 2x2. Okay, I'm expecting cross. They're in 3x1. Oh, they condense. Okay, they get tight to explode out. So I'm expecting these type of routes. So I'm expecting that type of route. That's what you have to get to. But that's hard to do. Why you're tired? Why you having to communicate? Why you got that guy on the other side of the field saying, I ain't get the call, man. What's the call? What's the call? What's the call? You over here like, yo, stop. Like, yo, breathe. Just give me a second. I got you. Like, it's a lot that goes into that. So that's why that's a big ask of him, but I think he's capable of that. I think he's more than capable of it, and I personally think he's ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's supposed to be the guy for us the next 10, 15 years, the staple of this defense. So
absolutely. And like I said, man, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to go through. Anybody that's won the dot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It sucks early on, and then you get accustomed to it, and then from there, the guys understand your communication pattern. They know, okay, once he's getting the call, just give him a second. all right, he's going to tell you this, then he's going to talk to that guy, then he's going to talk to that guy. Everybody does it differently, but once you get a couple of games in, you know. So like with Timmons, we knew, okay, man, he going to struggle sometimes. Like he might forget the call depending on how much is being said to him. So he going to hit you with the, whereas we knew with Shea going to be like, all right, he get the call. He going to tell us the call right now while the guy's still talking. He don't care. He's just getting it out. The faster he gets out, he don't have to worry about it no more. But he also knows that, hey, if he don't get that call or something goes wrong, he'll call his own call. And that's what we love, because it was like, we won't have to wait. We won't have to worry about it. Just get us a call right now. We're good to go.
Okay.
Everybody is different in that regard. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So next guy is Deontay Johnson.
I'm excited about Deontay, bro.
Dude.
I'm super excited about him.
I am too. And we've had past talks about receivers. We didn't really specifically hone in on him from what I can remember. And you're just thinking, Ben's back. Do we really need one receiver that bad to be stepping up like that? If anyone, it's going to be Juju. Yeah. The more I'm thinking about it, dude, I made a video on my YouTube channel. I was randomly doing something. I can't. You know how I am. It's just I get an idea. I'm like, I got to do this. I made a YouTube video on Deontay Johnson. It was literally every catch from his 2019 season. It's just a highlight tape.
Yeah.
Really simple. Every catch, little music in the background. So you text me about this topic yesterday, and I'm like, all right, Deontay Johnson, he's gonna make a leap. How bad do we need to make a leap? But then I'm like, you know what? Let me go back at that highlight tape, and let me see what he's about a little bit more. Could he be Jarvis Landry / Julian Edelman for us, where this guy needs to get 100 receptions this year? He was money from 7 and 8 yards out doing like a little hook route, and then even extend it past the first down from 10, 11, 12, 13 yards. Money right there. You give him the ball on like a little drag route across over the middle. It's just you pass it 3 yards, but then he's going to get an extra 2, 3, 5 yards guaranteed. Easily. And that's just like you're running the ball for 4 yards. Yes. What's the difference there? That's a positive play. But what he brings to the table, and I'm not trying to knock Edelman or Landry. I probably see more of Edelman than Landry, but he brings that deep ball element too.
Yes,
where he could get past the defenders and make a play down the field. I think we got to get this ball, Deontay Johnson, the ball a lot this year, man. Like 100 receptions. Like we should make that. I guess the baseline for him. We're just gonna get him the ball and see what happens.
When we talk about the guys that I'm most excited about making that year 2 jump, Deontay jumps off the screen to me, man. You talk about just how short-handed he is, first off, and how the routes don't even have to be complex. He's still able to get open. He still has a really good feel for sitting down versus zone, or being able to make moves to get open versus a man defense. He makes the first guy miss a lot. And he's already shown big play capabilities, both as a receiver and in the return game. So when you factor in the fact that he was still doing that with Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges, you have to understand this. They weren't doing a lot of checking at the line to scheme him to an open, easier play. It was whatever they call it, that's what they're going to run, regardless if it's a good call or not versus that particular look. With Ben, mentally, you already know how far ahead he is. If he sees a certain defense, he knows, okay, I can check this right now. And just by the scheme, by this call, you're going to be open. Those are the things that makes me so excited about Deontay, because I know, man, you did this without Ben. You were still able to do these things. Man, now with Ben, regardless of how healthy, if he's 100% or if he's 70%, just the mental of Ben, no different than the Peyton Manning effect when they won it that last year for Manning. Even though he physically, he had dropped off, mentally, he still could get them in the right call every time. So for me, that's banked on. So, man, in that regard, I know, like, everything is pointing arrow super up for Deontay. I think he's going to, my hot take, I think he's going to have the best year out of all the receivers on the Steelers team, personally.
That's my hot take.
That's what I feel.
I wouldn't say a hot take.
Because I know people are saying Juju. I know a lot of guys are hype on Claypool. But for me, man, dude, Deontay, man, even with James Washington, I think James Washington's still going to be good. But the things that Deontay can do, the safety net, like you said, the underneath routes, those are your money guys. Those are the guys, your Wes Welkers, your Julian Edelmans, you said your Jarvis Landrys. Those are the guys. And that's what Deontay is. And that's before we even get to the return game. In the return game, I talked about how early in the year, I wasn't a fan of him returning the punts, and that's what they had Switch out there for so long, because ball security. He had fumbled one, and he just didn't have good catching mechanics. He was catching the punts outside his framework.
Yeah.
Season progresses, he tightens up. on terms of his catching mechanics. Now you feel extremely confident because you don't have to worry about, is it 50-50, are you going to retain possession or not? Because nobody likes that. It was plenty of dope return men that we had in Pittsburgh that we were like, I'm not putting that guy out there if I have to worry about him catching the ball or not, or holding on to the ball. I don't care if you could take it to the house, because if you put it on the ground once and we turn it over, that's an issue. Mm-hmm. So now that he's cleaned that element up as well, man, sky's the limit. The sky is the limit.
Do you agree that he does add a little bit more with the deep play ability than, the Welkers, the Edelmans, the Jarvis Landry?
Like, those guys are elite slot
I don't know about I've seen Landry make some pretty dynamic catches.
This is
before,
the thing.
No,
Landry can catch anything.
Yeah.
The thing, what makes Landry different is his toughness. I've never seen a receiver to play with the toughness that he plays with and his athletic ability. Like, we talk about Hines. Hines was tough in the sense of, like, he's going to hit you with the blind side blocks. He's going to give you that. Jarvis does that as well. But when Jarvis gets the ball, Jarvis runs like a running back. Like, he's that type of physical mentality, that type of runner with the ball. That's the thing that separates him. Whereas with Edelman understands, he's super smart. Edelman knows, okay, this is going to be open in this versus this defense. All right, this is going to be that. That's going to be there. And he had that perfect rapport with Brady. Deontay has a chance, I think, to be better than both of those guys, because athletically, I feel like he's a better athlete than Jarvis and a better athlete than Edelman. Now, the biggest question is, can he mentally get to the point where Edelman was in understanding versus any defense, this is where we need to go, this is where I need to be at, and have that rapport with Ben, because this will be his first full season with Ben. So those are some of the question marks. But overall, man,
I'm excited, dude.
I'm super hype about him, man.
Yeah, because initially I'm just thinking, he's going to make a jump, 900, 1,000 yards, whatever. But then I thought about it more. I'm like, I looked at the highlight tape. I'm like, damn, we might need to get this dude the ball 100 times.
Dude,
like, minimum.
I'm excited to see what he looks like in year 2, bro.
Yeah, dude. We're both excited then.
Absolutely.
All right, Justin Lane. We going by a draft pick then?
Yeah, just figure,
Okay. Yeah, because they were both third-round picks.
It was Deontay first and then Justin, and then from there it was Benny.
Even though I guess we didn't really have that organized like that, but hey, we're doing it.
Come on, man. You didn't have it organized like that, man. Don't knock mine. I been knew it was like that. Yeah.
Well, Snell's the bigger name, but what we'll go.
Yeah.
We'll go
Snell
in order.
was a bigger name out of all of those guys outside of Devin Busch. When they got drafted, yes.
Okay, yes.
I would say don't try to act like he wasn't.
Okay.
He was the way bigger name. Nobody was hype on Deontay. Nobody was hype on Justin Lane. It was, we got Devin Busch.
I wanted Metcalf, dude.
And then it was, we got Benny Snell football, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. Yeah, he definitely fit the Pittsburgh football mentality.
Then he took the picture with the 26 jersey and everybody, yeah. He was definitely the bigger name out of all the dudes outside of Devin, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so Justin Lane, what would a jump for him look like this year? Because how much playing time is he going to get?
So this is the thing, man. A jump for Justin is this. You have to be an active game day player every week. It was times where he wasn't even dressing. That's the issue, because you're too talented. Like, your attributes, which you're able to bring from a size, speed standpoint, physicality, like, you should always have a helmet. And that starts with your special teams element. So we talked about Artie Burns, right? Everybody gave Artie a bad rep. Artie still was going to be on special teams. That's why he was still dressing every game, because he was going to be your gunner in this situation. He was going to do all the other things on special teams, similar to what we saw with Darius Hayward-Bay. Even though he might not be here at his position, he's going to give you this on special teams. By Justin not getting a helmet, that's letting me know that at the time last year, they didn't trust him enough to even put him on a special team situation. That's an issue. This year, though, I'm saying to myself, bare minimum, whatever Artie was on special teams, that's you now.
Okay.
Like, bare minimum, there should never be a game, unless you're hurt, there should never be a game where you're not dressed. And then from there, now you're working your way at where, okay, if I'm not going to be out there starting with Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson, which we fully expect to be the case because those guys are going to be out there, you better be competing with Cam Sutton and Mike Hilton in that nickel and dime role without a doubt. That should be where you're competing at.
Oh, you think he's got the potential to do that?
Absolutely, because a lot of times the way it works is this. If you play corner, especially like the guys who are outside corners, if you're not in that role to start right away, they bump you inside to the slot role to compete there. We think when I was in Buffalo, we had a guy named Aaron Williams. Aaron was the number 2 pick for us, a second round pick for us as an outside corner. But at the time, we had 2 corners that were already good, Terrence McGee and Leotis McKelvin. So he wasn't going to start. So it was like, all right, we got to get you on the field somehow. So now you are a slot corner. That's where you're going to get your opportunities at. Oh, okay, when we go to our dime package, okay, you're going to be on that field. that's where you compete at. That's going to be your role until you get those opportunities outside. If somebody goes down, they need a blow. All right, you get out there. You show what you can do in a little sample size. But to me, that's what a second year leap looks like for Justin. You should never go a game without having a helmet, though, period, because you're just too talented. It's not like you were undrafted. It's not like you were a 6th round pick. Dude, like, you belong. You're talented enough. Don't be the statistic of some of these guys that have come and been drafted in the 3rd and 4th round where you don't play at all for 2 years and they cut you. We've seen that. Or you spend time on practice squad. We've seen that. And there's nothing against guys who are on practice squad, but dude, you were the 3rd round pick for a reason. Like, for me, that's what I think that's the second year leap for him. And just mentally understanding that, hey man, you can't take that for granted that I'm gonna get a red shirt year like how he got last year. Cause that's what I equate that to. Like, yo, you got a red shirt, man. You know, they were stacked on defense. You weren't necessarily ready to go. All right, cool. We took our time with you. That doesn't happen often in Pittsburgh, though. That clock is rolling. And you've seen it in the past, man. Was it Durant Grant? 4th round pick. Couple of years on practice squad, got rid of him. Dree Archer, another one. 3rd round pick. 1 or 2 years, got rid of him. This is a little later in terms of pick, but I think his name was Shaquille Richardson, maybe. Corner out of Washington, 5th round pick for us. Same concept. 1 year. It's not looking good. We're going to move on. That's what you got to understand, man. You don't want to be in that conversation. You want to show that, hey, I'm here, I belong. So that's, for me, what a year two jump would like for him.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, Benny Snell now.
Benny Snell football.
I don't know how much PT he's going to get here. It's kind of like Justin Lane. I think that Connor coming back is definitely going to limit that. I think his opportunity was last year, and he performed.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I mean, to the degree where you're thinking, all right, he needs to get split carries like we talked about last week or last podcast. He needs to be on the field. I just don't really have that feeling. If he's out there, you hope that he does take advantage of his opportunities. I don't know how many carries or percentage of snaps that's going to be, but I don't know. I don't know what that looks like, so I'll be interested to hear what you got to say.
So for me, man, year two jump for Benny. Number one, continue to make plays on special teams. We talked about last year. That was the one thing we were seeing him do. He was going out on punt, kickoff. He was making tackles. I'd love to see that because that's going to be his role still if everything goes well with James Conner. I want to still see you out there making plays on that. But also, similar to what we saw in that second game of the season versus the Seahawks, you got that one carry, you went for 23 yards on it. If they're using it as a short yardage back, you better dominate in that short yardage vein because you can use that to, remember we talked about saving James Conner a little bit, taking some of those hits off of him. We've done it before, even with Le'Veon when he was
like you said, back. It's going to naturally happen. If Conner gets 80% of the snaps, they're still going to be 20%.
So we started using D'Angelo Williams, for example, and then we went with, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on his real name because we always called him Nightmare.
Toussaint?
No. Gosh. Oh, man, I'm drawing a blank.
This is about...
Yeah, this was his last year.
This was third running back we had.
He was number like 39. We were using strictly for short yardage situation because it was like, you know what, if we can save some of those hits on Le'Veon, let's use him. And we always called him Nightmare because he went to the same school as Christian Okoye. Oh my goodness. And it's gonna drive me nuts. I can't think of his name. Terrell. What is Terrell's last name?
I can't think
of his last name, bro. But yeah, we would use him in that vein, and as long as he was falling forward, kept giving him the ball. Anytime with short yardage, just fall forward, you're good to go. We said it was predictable because we knew he was going to run the ball, but as long as he was falling forward, we kept doing it. And when I'm looking at Benny, I'm like, if that's going to be your role until further notice, dominate it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you excel in that role. Make sure that, hey, every time I'm out there, I'm falling forward, I'm getting that first down. If it's third and short, whatever it may be, second and short, if you're using me, I'm going to be productive. If I'm on special teams, I'm making tackles. That's what I view Benny as right now until we know otherwise, because we're all under the assumption that, hey, James is going to be healthy. James is going to be the guy. So if that's going to be the case, that's what I see for Benny in terms of making that growth.
I like how you bring up these little things that I'm just completely blowing past. Because I'm thinking to jump, all right, you got to have 1,200 yards. Man. 7-8 touchdowns. Like, that's just my thought of what a jump means,
Because for me, man, I never go down the path of statistics because we've already talked about it numerous times how stats lie. And I know you're big on stats until we talk certain stats, and then you're like, nah, stats don't count. Eyeball tests.
It's all these things, dude. You know how it is, man. It's a factor. he could have 700-800 yards. But if his yards per carries are good and he's contributing, then that would be a jump. But like you know how I think. I'm just extreme one way. Like I need to go there, man. I need to see a Bettis Jr. out of snow or something like that.
Man, it's good.
But it's just unrealistic this year coming up. That's what I mean. So that's why I like how you brought up like the little things of what maybe people wouldn't notice. Right. Yeah.
That equates to jump, and that ultimately helps this team in terms of winning too, because he could easily go in there and say, "Man, look, I did this last year with way less talent around me. I should get more carries. I was healthy. I should be out there." He could make that argument. Is that going to be best for the team though? No. What's best for the team is if James is healthy, have James out there. What's best for the team is if James needs a spell every couple of plays. All right, Benny, that's your role. If James needs you out there just to be the blocking back on third down, so James have to deal with the hits, that's your role. Like whatever his role is going to be, that's what he's going to need to step up and dominate in. Now, we haven't seen him a ton in pass protection, but from the little bit that we did see, he was successful in that department. So that's another thing. All right, every time, because we do not need Ben getting hit because you, period. We don't need that at all. Not at all.
He'll be fired the next day.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need, no, that's not good. It's not good at all. So as long as, okay, if you're coming in there for third down situations, short yardage for the runs, or you're pass protecting, okay, cool. You better excel in it. Keep him clean. Like that's how I view those year 2 jumps for him.
Did you see some of the comments from the last one we put out there? Have we been forgetting about Jalen Samuels at all? Or
people have been saying, and that's why I always tell people, like, I don't want to act like we're not including Jalen Samuels. It's just, it's a weird
Snell and
dynamic.
McFarland are the names,
right. It's just a weird dynamic in terms of when you're looking at the roster and how it's structured right now. You know James Conner is here 1,000%. You know McFarland is a 4th-round pick where he brings from a speed element. No other running back has that on this roster.
Yeah, you're at least giving him a shot.
So that's that. And then with Benny was still productive last year, where we agreed that even though Jalen had a really good year, I think it would have been in 2018.
Yeah, it was those last 4 games.
Correct. He looked good then. Last year in a more expanded role, he did well in the Wildcat situation, and then he had the play in Baltimore where he threw the pick, and then from there it was kind of like, man, it went down.
Play. Jeez,
it kind of went downhill from there, and he really wasn't used like that because he's not like your traditional, hey, you're gonna just line him up in the backfield, just have him running it.
And that's what people were saying is, could it be Ben, where he could thrive with Ben somehow and find that role?
I'm not opposed to it.
Would we keep 4 running backs? I don't know.
That's asking a lot. That's all I'm saying. And even if you do keep 4 running backs, okay, you're not dressing 4 running backs on game day.
Unless we're putting him in like one of those tight end rules, maybe. I know Madden hasn't listened.
Bro, he's not a tight end. I don't know why Madden never said that. I'm telling you for a fact. And this is no disrespect to Jalen. I'm a fan of him personally. Anybody?
I was high on him last year. I thought
we talked about.
That's what I was saying. I thought last year was the year to be doing the split carries thing. Considering if Ben was going to be healthy the whole season, I thought that would have worked out. Absolutely. But obviously it didn't because of what happened.
And for me, like I said, I'm a fan of Jalen. But if Jalen was lined up in front of me as a tight end, you might as well go ahead and start ringing the dinner bell, man. We're gonna get the celebration going right now because there's no way under this universe or even in a parallel universe for any all that other stuff that he's gonna block me. Like, he's not a tight end, bro. He's not.
What do you think of the people that say the same thing about LeBron?
I don't care what they say about LeBron in terms of him being able to play in the NFL.
No. That's a lot of the outside linebackers and defensive ends have said if LeBron's tight end, he's getting blown out. We're taking him out.
It's different. People, you know, this is the thing that's funny, right? We all talk about how, why do we speak of LeBron? We say, man, look how big and how fast he is. He could jump. Saying they said with Jimmy Graham, big, fast, could jump.
You never worried about him.
Jimmy Graham couldn't block. Okay. Boy, what? Blocking? Man, Jimmy Graham, man, that's what Jimmy Graham gonna get you. He's not blocking nobody, or he'll slow it down. He's hoping that you'll trip over him on the way to the court once you put him on his back. That's what would happen in that situation. So with LeBron, as much as people,
he can still be a great tight end but inside receiver, I guess.
When we equate great tight ends, we're not saying they're great because they can block. That's why George Kittle is so good, because he can block. We're not worried about Travis Kelce blocking. Who was not worried about that? We said, man, Travis Kelce, he's going out running route. If he stay here and block, it's a sack. Like, that's the mentality. First off, it should be any DN outside linebacker mentality. If you getting blocked by tight ends, it's not looking good. It's disrespectful if they're gonna leave a tight end on you. It's disrespectful if they're gonna put a running back on you. That's just how it goes.
So the people that were criticizing us saying Gronkowski being a top 3 tight end this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're completely not factoring that type of stuff in. What Gronk could bring to the table blocking wise.
Absolutely, too. Gronk blocks. Gronk definitely blocks,
and he's an elite receiver out there.
That's why, like, it's certain ones you respect differently. It's like, okay, Jimmy Graham, you cool. Like, we know you'll route anybody up. We got that. You'll jump out the gym. We got that. You're not blocking me though. Run, pass, it don't matter. You're not blocking me. With Gronk, it's like, oh, Gronk, he with it. Hey, all right, buckle up. with Kittle, he's with it. Okay, let me tighten the chin strap up. I know what it's about to be. It's certain tight ends, okay. We used to have David Johnson on our team. The year we went to the Super Bowl, he obviously used to have the dreads, and he cut the dreads and all that stuff. He's another guy. Okay, he's going to block you. Matt Spaeth, he's another guy. We're him running routes, but okay, in the blocking game, he going to block you. And you would see it anytime we played the Bengals. Dunlap, he's handling him. You would see that. That's what they do. Certain guys, okay, look, he's big, but his job is to block, and he is great at it. And then there's other guys, you're like, okay, he's a route runner. I'm not worried about the route runner. If you leave this route runner in here, it's a sack.
Ebron McDonald dynamic?
Basically.
Okay, got you. But that's going to be a nice 1-2 punch. Watch out.
Hey, man, should be.
We forgot about them, dude. We're talking about Deontay Johnson. Dude, this offense is going to be lethal.
We're good.
This is gonna be wild, dude.
Because it's funny, you say the comments about Jalen, I see the comments about Ebron. I be seeing like some people are excited about him, and then some are like, awesome. Bro, like you saw what he looked like, man. The hands, the injuries, the locker room. I'm like, hey, man, all right,
Ebron's real excited to be here, man.
I'm excited for him to be here.
You see the comments about Ben, just Pittsburgh as a whole. He's excited, and I'm excited.
Was it him that got into it with the people though about black and yellow versus black and gold?
No, I don't know. I didn't see that.
I think it was.
I've just seen the comments where he's like, man, I've respected Ben my whole career. I've always wanted to play here. That's what I've seen.
I mean, he's coming from Brian Hoyer and what was the other kid out there?
Well, he was with the Lions. He was with Stafford for a little bit.
Yeah. Stafford's not Ben, though. Let's be real.
No, for sure.
Yeah, Stafford's not Ben.
No, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, he's been eyeing up different quarterbacks. He's trying to think of, man, where could I go? And
that's what it was.
There's a reason he's picked Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. They said, hey, we're gonna give you the most money. All right, sold. That's that simple.
Man, don't crash the vibe right now.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm tripping.
It could be both.
It's definitely you. I'm rolling with yours. It's yours.
It could be both. Let's just say both.
But more yours than mine.
No, it's fine. It could be split in the middle.
No, man.
Just don't take away from the other side.
It's 60-40. 60-40. He was like, yeah, I want Ben. I'm playing with Ben.
All right. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Here we go.
We got it all.
Yeah, man. That was fun, man. That was good.
This is a good podcast,
man. Also, the YouTube people already know this, but we got the Chevy Woods, man. Taylor Gang official, Pittsburgh born rapper, man, doing his thing. He hopped on the podcast with us, man, and that was a awesome conversation, man. So that's going to be a part of this tape right here, man. So definitely check it out, man. You're going to enjoy it, man. He's dropping some gems just in life, current situations.
Dope story.
Yeah, crazy stories talking about him and Wiz Khalifa and their relationship and things like that, man. So you're definitely going to enjoy it. He's a big time Steeler fan too. So yeah,
you get a Steeler take at the end.
You would definitely enjoy it. You definitely get a hot Steeler take at the end.
Hot take, yes.
Hot take at the end, man. So you'll definitely enjoy that, man. Like I said, for the YouTube people, man, y'all already seen it, but for the podcast listeners, man, y'all definitely going to enjoy this. So with that being said, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure y'all stay safe out here. And thanks for viewers, everybody. And until next time.
Peace.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. It is time, man. Very, very special guest. This cat right here, man, he's a part of Grammy Nominated Wiz Khalifa's record label, Taylor Gang. He just released a new single called Make It Last off of his upcoming album, Since Birth. He's been dominating the Pittsburgh rap scene with his Gangland mixtape series, The Lewis Park Legend, New 90s Mixtape, just to name a few. Pittsburgh's very own, ladies and gentlemen, Chevy Woods.
Yes, sir. It was good, man.
Man, all good over here, man. First off, man, we appreciate you again, man, hopping on the podcast with us, man. Definitely means a lot.
Oh, man, thank you, man. You know, I've been a fan of yours already through Steeler days. And
man, major respect.
I catch the podcast here and there, man, and check it out.
Major respect, man. Major respect. Now, we know, man, you're big into the community, man, and obviously you're very hip to what's going on in the world. So I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't start out just talking about, you know, you being a minority in America, man, and everything that's transpired. What's been your reaction to just this current situation right now, man?
I honestly think we all have a voice, but some of us have bigger platforms and bigger voices. So I think that, everybody should chime in with their opinion, but do it safely, because you got to tread light waters with certain people's feelings and stuff like that, and watch what you say and all of that, especially being an artist, they antagonize everything you say. So I say,
Yeah.
I'll always say, it's really right now is damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you don't say nothing, then they're going to speak up about you not saying anything. If you do say something, then it's all these millions of opinions of what you said and how you should go about it. So I'd rather, educate people than tell them what to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. You're right. I mean, we look at it the same way we talk about with artists and how a lot of times artists and athletes, they kind of are synonymous in that sense, man. If you say something, you're going to be criticized. But if you don't speak, you're criticized for that as well. But as we've seen throughout the years, man, these situations have happened, man, in terms of the police brutality and stuff like that on minorities. Why do you feel it's important to speak out in this particular situation? Because we're seeing from a national standpoint how many people have stood up and started to talk about it.
Well, the thing about it, where it starts is, of course, it starts at home and the education that you get from your parents on, because going to school in high school, of course, when you think about social studies, it's like there was really no Black history in social studies. They literally told us Columbus found America and it took it from the Indians, and that was the base of it. You know what I mean? So we didn't really know, the history of what was going on until you actually start living it. And I think in the communities, there are no minority. Well, there are some, but there's not a lot of minority like police officers. So the language between people that live in the neighborhood and police is always going to be, divided, because when you're looking at somebody to educate you, you're trying to see somebody that knows what they're talking about, that been through the things that you've been through. But it's a disconnect with that, because you can't talk to, and I have white friends, of course, and all that, business and just friendship in general, but they have no idea of what like we go through on a daily basis. We wake up with this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally like a fear for some people, and some people, they're strong enough to put up a fight against it, but there are a lot of people that just live in fear on a daily for their kids, for their grandparents, for their dad, their mom, and all that. So we wear this like, on our sleeve.
Man, yeah, absolutely right. I know for me, that was one of the biggest things that I've been talking about now is start the conversation. Because that disconnect, man, of how minorities have been raised and their experiences versus non-minorities and what they've experienced and their perspective on certain things are drastically different a lot of times. And it's almost as if because of white America not being able to experience it, they're kind of naive to everything that goes on. So I think the conversational piece, man, is huge, man, to ultimately make everybody be able to relate and understand, okay, this is what needs to take place so we can all move forward and make this world better.
Right. And that's what I've been telling people. It's not about when you say something, it's about saying something. So you can't get to people if they say something 3 days later and they're putting up Black Lives Matter or whatever. Maybe they had to take a chance to educate themselves before they posted a picture or posted a tweet or posted IG. You know what I mean? So you can't put that off on people like that because they're not speaking immediately, because some people are not educated on this stuff.
Absolutely.
No, 100%, man. I like how you put all that. Now, I have a question just about music and your upbringing. What was your earliest memory of music? Did you know you were going to go down this journey of becoming a rapper?
Nah, I actually had no idea. You know what I mean? Like, I literally, I did the high school stuff. I was All-American, all of that stuff in Pittsburgh and all of that. I went to Robert Morris for a year. Kind of figured out that it wasn't like my thing, because it was like, of course, Moats, this Prop 48. When you get to college and it's Prop 48 and you're a superstar, sometimes that can, steer you a different way. And you're like, damn, I don't get to play. I don't get to practice. Yeah. So I'm like, nah, this ain't for me. And one of my homies, Ed Brown, who's still my friend to this day, I seen him just doing music stuff, writing books, writing raps out. So I just, tried it myself, and that turned to leaving school. That turned to me rapping at cookouts. That turned to me battling people in Pittsburgh, which then turned to me trying to find a studio to record my music at. And turning in a keyboard for $350 and buying studio time. Same time I did that, Wiz was working at that studio. He was in the back room, I was in the front room, and we were just listening to what each other was doing, but we didn't even know each other. And finally, we come out to the vending machine and was like, yo, what's up? I like what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Conversation started, and we recorded a record that night, and that was like 07, 08. So we've been locked in ever since.
I like it. And man, we're going to get into that a little later too. But I mean, when you talk about the collabs that both y'all, you and Wiz, have done, y'all put out some amazing music, stuff that I'm personally a big fan of, man. So I'm glad that all happened so I can enjoy y'all products.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you, bro.
Yes, indeed, man. So talking a little bit too, man, about you making that decision to go the rap route, was that difficult, man? Because obviously, like you said, you being an athlete and going to Robert Morris, that's a totally different avenue. So how difficult of a decision was that for you to say, you know what, I'm going to commit to being a rapper here?
It was super difficult because if we're just being transparent, after I left school, I got into, running around in the streets, which I knew wasn't going to be an occupation forever. You know what I mean? Because I seen the decline of people that made it to the top in my neighborhood, and then they either went to jail or they got killed or something like that. So in my mind, the older guys always told me get in, get out, but I never really knew what that meant until I had an outlet to get out. So the outlet was actually music and meeting Wiz and going on tour and him having a bigger dream than what I thought it could be. And me just following up, what he thought was best for us at the time, because there was a lot of shit that was going on that he told us would work. And everybody was just like, all right, man, now if this shit don't work, you know what I mean? Because coming from the streets, like I was literally making $5,000-$6,000 a day, but with all the problems, with all the shootings, with all the cop stuff, with all the looking over my shoulder, with all the trying to hide stuff here and there. And it was just too much at a point. And, one day he was like, yo, we're going on tour. I know you still got your 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'll give you 2 weeks, to see if this is what you really want to do. And after 2 weeks, I just went cold turkey and just said, fuck that street shit. I'm going to go over here and put my hustle over here to music.
Major respect, man. It's funny. You talk about going on tour early on. This probably would have been the beginning of 2011. I'm sitting at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia. You, Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, and I think Amber Rose was with y'all. Y'all came in and performed, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I was hyped because obviously this is when Wiz is about to drop the rolling papers and stuff. But I remember you coming on stage, Chevy, ho, Chevy, ho, Chevy. And I'm like, yo. I remember leaving out of there like, man, all right, I love Wiz, but this Chevy dude, man, I rock with him
too. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
He always put, even though, like, that's the thing about it. Sometimes even when you're the man, because in my head, of course, with the sports and then the rapping and then the neighborhood and the street stuff, of course I'm thinking I'm the man. But when you meet somebody who thinks the same way, but their level of business is way higher, you got to get attached to that. You got to find your own niche and how to stay in your lane and do what you were supposed to do. And that's where me coming on and doing the hype man for him for like 6 or 7 years, I didn't even care about what I had going on because the dream was way bigger.
I like it.
Now, you mentioned Wiz and his dreams and ideas, and they were kind of, I don't know, you were sitting back and you're like, man, I don't really know about some of this stuff. Was there a point where you were like, man, I really got to buy into this dude?
Yeah, I think the point was when we first booked the tour. When he first booked the tour, I was like, oh, so we about to go on the road and be able to make money, even though the money wasn't like crazy because he was only making like $1,500 to $2,000 a show, but he was splitting it with like 4 other people. You know what I mean? $250 here, $350 for the DJ, like stuff like that. So he had to break it down. That's when I knew that shit was real, because he didn't have $20,000 shows to where everybody was comfortable. Like, here's $2,000 for you. It was just like, take what you could get. We gonna ride this out, but the money's gonna get crazier if we just stay down.
That's crazy hearing you say that, because I mean, as fans, we always just assume that, man, if they're on tour, they're getting paper, like they're getting paid, they're comfortable. But to hear you saying it like that, like that's mind blowing a little bit to me, man.
Yeah, sometimes you take a chance and everything's not in the green. There was a lot of times where we was in the red and people still had to be paid. You know what I'm saying? So that's when stuff came up where I would be like, yo, I ain't even tripping on them, because once I got out of hustling and stuff, I had bread still. So I was like, don't even worry about me, bro. We gonna get to me. You know what I'm saying? But you need that money to either take care of something else for you or take care of another person. I'm gonna be straight. And then when it got to the point where it was my turn to get $2,500, $3,000, I didn't really have to share with nobody but my DJ because of the setup that we did from the beginning.
I like that, man. Now, you work with a ton of highly decorated artists, man, from obviously Wiz Khalifa, but also Juicy J and Dej Loaf, just to name a few. So talk about the thought process behind working with these different artists and how it even comes about.
I think, that the internet is a huge deal, you know what I mean? And with the connections that you can make on the internet, I think that plays a huge part of it. But first of all, it becomes, for me, I'm a realist. So I was listening to these people's music before we ever recorded a record. I might have had 3 to 4 hour conversations, 7 or 8 times before I even recorded a record with these people. You know what I mean? So we talked a lot before the music even came about. And that's my thing. Like, I'm not the guy that you're going to be like, could you do this feature for me? I got blah, blah, so amount of money. I'm going to ask you, what are you doing with this? Where are we going? Are we shooting videos? Do you have a manager? Like, I'm going to give you a little bit of game along with me doing the record, but it just had to sit right with me for me to put, my 2 cents in.
Now, when you're going through that process, are there any times where you're just like, you know what, we might have agreed that, hey, we're going to do a song, but once y'all get to working together, you feel like it's not a match?
Yeah, for sure. There's been songs that I've trashed with people, stuff like that. There's been situations where I got in the studio and started seeing how people moved, and I was just like, I think it was a learning experience and then a reset to go back and connect with them again. You know what I mean? I didn't just take, if I trashed the song, I don't mean that I trashed our relationship. It's just, I feel like, we weren't in the right space and mind. I might have not been, and you might have not been. So the connection, wasn't right. And it's like that. It's like that a lot of times. You know what I mean? Like, I always tell people, you're not going to get in the studio and do exactly what you want to do all the time. You know what I mean? It's stuff that makes that sway to different places. You can record, or you can not record, or you can have a conversation and leave, or you cannot have a conversation and don't like the vibe that's going on. So it just has to be like a good vibe with the person and the connection.
Okay. Now, you just released a new single, Make It Last, off of your upcoming album, Since Birth. So talk a little bit about the inspiration that went behind the song and why you chose that to be the single for your new album.
Well, the song, I dropped a record before that called Escape, and that was the lead single, and Make It Last was the follow-up. I think that, music is 80%, as far as purchasing goes, music is 80% women, 20% men.
Okay, it's a method to the madness. I see the science here.
That's something I learned in my marketing class back in college. Even they have like 80% of the decision-making power in a household.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's true over here.
yeah, for sure. Yo, so it was like, they make up 80%. So it's like, who am I gonna? I've been going for the fellas and the palette music and the fly stuff and the paper plane talk forever. You know what I mean? With sprinkles of talking about women in there. But I just wanted to give them something that they could vibe to, and at the same time, would Make It Last. I know that guys that enjoy my music will play it for their girl, and then the girls that enjoy my music will play it for their guy. So it's like a two-way street when you drop records like that. So that's where my mind was with it.
I like that.
Savvy.
Now, talk a little bit to us about your upcoming album, Since Birth, and ultimately, man, what do you want listeners to take away from it?
Well, as you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and there's a lot of stuff that I stayed away from as far as talking about, because I put out a lot of music, bro. I put out like 16 mixtapes and 4 EPs.
I would say, yeah, man, your catalog is crazy.
Yeah, so like now that we're doing the album, a lot of the stuff that, and people don't know, everybody asks me how I did it. It's like, there's a lot of stuff that went on in my life that I never even put on a record. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to save it for the real moment. And the album is called Since Birth, is because I feel like now that I'm doing this, I feel like it was destiny, but I had no idea that it was destiny until I got to this point. So now on the album, I named it Since Birth so that everybody can know that this been already instilled since I was born. I just didn't have no idea of how to put it together, but I had to go through those life situations in order to get here now to be able to put the project together for people.
I like that.
Now, you speak about life situations. I was listening to an old interview that you did, and you were talking about that time period. I think it was, when you were still hustling in the streets, and you had a change of mindset, and that was based off some conversations you were having that was, opening up your mind to other things outside of the streets. Do you remember anything about those conversations, who they were, maybe just, I guess, in general, like what was opening your mind up to things outside of the streets where you could see a different future for yourself?
Well, I think I have good connections with people from my past. You know what I mean? So the thing with that is I have teachers, counselors, and on Facebook I still talk to, and send birthday shout outs, send Starbucks gift cards if I can. So it's
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like those people in my past that I had the conversations with. I had to go back to where I was in those times and actually remember and think about what they were saying. So it could have been a OG homeboy. It could have been my dad. It could have been my granddad. It could have been a young cat on the street that, is just going to high school and he's asking me questions about what to expect and things like that. So it's, the connection with those people, like I said, the big influence for me was like connecting with some of my teachers from like middle school and stuff like that. And then telling them, the stuff that they were telling me in high school, I was just shunning it off back then. Like, I'm not trying to hear that shit. But I really had to apply it when I got older and was an adult. So I just go back and tell them, like, thank you for that. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. Same go for like parents. We always thank our parents after for being on our ass like that. And we didn't know that while they were doing it. You know what I mean? You get a whooping and your mom says she loves you while she's whooping you. It's like, what do you mean? You're kicking my ass and you're saying you love me. It doesn't add up. But I understand it now, you know what I mean? It's so that you don't go do that shit that you got in trouble for again. And I'm showing you that I love you enough to discipline you so you don't do that.
No, that's interesting. At least like the seed is planted. So maybe a situation comes up in the future and then you think back on maybe that truth or little piece of wisdom that was given to you, and then it just all adds up, I guess.
That's my whole how I carry it, and that's my life.
All right. I see you, man. That's that growth right there. Major growth. So, man, we hear this all the time, man. Mixtapes versus albums. Just talk to us a little bit about the difference between the two, and in particular, when you're creating an album versus a mixtape. Talk about that process and what's the differences for you.
A mixtape is more with mixtapes. I mean, of course, with any music, I didn't got to a point where, I don't need my phone. I don't need no notepads. It's just a feeling, now. Before I used to like pen down everything and make sure everything was right and calculated and stuff like that, even with mixtapes. So I was already in that mode doing my mixtape stuff. But with the mixtape stuff, I could just rap. I could make that in a night. I can make a mixtape in 2 days. You know what I mean? I haven't put out a real studio album, and I've been doing this for like 12, 13 years. So now with an album, it makes me go back and sit down and go from top to bottom, and make sure everything is right. All the words are right. Sometimes I might go home with the album, listen to it, fall asleep, but something struck me that was different in the album. I'd be like, I got to go change that tomorrow. So you're really like, an album is really like nitpicking because you always think it's done. But I always tell people the album isn't done. The album is never done until it's out and people are purchasing it. It's never done. So you're always tweaking it, all the way up until the release date.
Now, typically, how long would it take? So you said you could do a mixtape in a day or two, just go in there, you're gonna lay down what you want to lay down, and you're good. But with the album process, I mean, do you take months to do it? I mean, I hear some guys say they take years almost when they're making an album just because they want to change so much with that. So like, what's the time frame typically with you?
I don't think I really have a time frame because I had 4 other albums before this, you know what I mean? And I thought that those were what it was going to be. And then we got this one now, and this is really what it is, but it's a collective of all of those albums that I trashed, put into this one, knowing my mistakes and knowing what I want now. So it's kind of like easier when you go through that process of, I keep saying the word trashing it, but I throw it away. I keep it, but I throw it away and I don't use it until it's a time. Like for instance, this Friday, I'm gonna drop another record that's not even on the album, but it pertains to everything that's going on. And I had it since 2017.
That's
you know what I mean? So now I'm just coming back to it. I'm remixing it. I'm doing the little stuff that's going on with the world now, and I'm putting it in there. So, you always go back and nitpick with stuff, and that's just the world of music.
Got you. Now, I have a question. This is probably some advice that I need, maybe. I was listening that you used to be a really chill dude coming up, and recently, I don't know, maybe within the past 3, 4, 5 years, you said you became more aggressive in your style, and that this is kind of pertaining to, say you're in the studio, you hear someone drops a beat and says, "Hey, do you like this?" And you're just like, "Yeah, that's cool, whatever." But now you're a little bit more hands-on with the process and saying, "I like this, I like that, change this, change that." How did you switch from that chill mentality? Because my whole thing is, I'm called Deke, but my tagline's chilling with Deke. So I might need to get out of that chill zone a little bit. So how did you go from completely chill to maybe a little bit more of an aggressive attitude with your approach?
I think beforehand, when I was younger and doing this, I didn't know what I wanted. You know what I mean? It was basically for, clout, as they say back then. You know what I mean? It was just either for clout, for the homies, for some girls or something. I always did it for something, and I never put myself in the forefront to say, "Yo, bro, you need to do this for you." 100%, you know what I mean? And I always gave myself to people and I always did what people wanted. And I always try to please the people. And with the album, I was like, you know what? I want to make myself happy. I want to be cool with this body of work before it even goes out to people, before anybody can say that's dope. I want to be like, yo, you did it. So that's what changed it. That's how I got aggressive with my music, because I started to say, this is what you want. Well, you gonna go do it, or we gonna go do it in my own head. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Now, throughout this whole process, man, of identifying that passion with music and saying that, hey, you know what, I wanted to be a certain way. I wanted this. I wanted that. What has been the most challenging thing for you throughout this whole journey?
You really want to know? The most challenging thing has been getting producers to clear records.
Oh, like the samples and stuff?
Yeah, people don't understand that. All right, so here's a situation. It was a record that I had with Wiz that I had to take off the album, and then I put another record with him on it. But I had to take the record off the album because there was one little sound in the beat that was a sample, and the producer didn't feel like, he felt like the beat was what it was, and he didn't feel like go make another sound, take that sample out, put another sound in there, and give me the beat. Then he just said, "Oh, well, I don't want to do it."
Jeez,
you know what I mean? So that's like something so simple to go and do, to play one little note to change it, and I'll be me as the artist. It has to go out with my words on it, and if I'm comfortable with it, but you say no, I don't want to do it for that one sound, it's like, all right, dude, keep the song. I don't even care. So you go through a lot of like little shit like that, as far as like the album cover goes. There's a dude that I just had him fix an old picture of like a baby picture, and he ended up writing just since birth on a baby picture, and he fixed a little bit, And he's like bugging me now, like, yo, when the album, yo, I did the cover art, yo. I'm like, bro, I gave you a shot just to fix the picture. I could have literally wrote the title on my own. I could have did that myself. My last 4 tapes, I've done the covers by myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm just reaching out because I like your work. I want people to see it.
Yeah.
So let's go with it. You know what I mean? It's like some people are just overly aggressive about their stuff to where it'll turn you off and turn you sour towards them and be like, yeah, I'm not working with them no more.
Man, I would have never guessed that. That's crazy. Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Whew, that's wild, man. So recently, now this is getting me here because I like to cook. I'm a big cooking guy. Recently, you just started your cooking show. It's on your social media. You can check it out. Called Make It Good with Chevy Woods. Now, I done seen you up there chefing up some steaks. I thought I was there Roof Chris when I saw you make the one. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You got the little glaze. I'm over here like, okay, so he's really doing this here. So talk to me, man. What inspired this and where does your passion for cooking come from?
Well, when I was a kid, you know, my grandma and my mom, they stayed in the kitchen. We have a big family. So it was either my grandma's house for Thanksgiving, my mom's, or my uncle's house for Thanksgiving. So I used to always just be in the kitchen just toying around, you know what I mean, messing with my mom, you know, playing jokes on my grandma and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was watching, you know, back then. And the reason I named it Make It Good is because, you know, I could have said Make It Good with all the measurements with Chevy Woods, but that's not Make It Good to me. Make It Good to me is my mom knows how to do it. She doesn't have a recipe. She just has the way that she goes about cooking things the same way every time so that it tastes good. So that's where the Make It Good came from. And one day I was on an Xbox and my homie Rig Grant, who is a comedian, he actually was like, Make It Good. And he just had said it on the Xbox. And I was like, you know what? That's a show, bro. And it rhymes. I'm like, yeah, Make It Good with Chevy Woods. And it surprises him now that, you know, I'm on my 5th episode and I actually got that from him. So I just watched, you know, family members cook and you know, got connected with that in a real way to a point now. I just show people that, you know, I can do it. And everybody's going to say, oh, you don't do it this way. You don't do it this way. But I always tell them it's called Make It Good, not make it good the way that people think you should. That's not the deal.
Well, and I like the fact, too, that you said that, man, because it's easy. I feel like sometimes it's just, okay, this guy put a video out with these measurements and that. And it's easy to follow those directions. I think it's a lot tougher, though, when you're doing it how you're doing it, man. I don't see measuring cups. I just see you out here just, all right, you got a sprinkle of that, got a little pinch of this. Oh, you got this thing right here. And then it's done. You're like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah. And that's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? I people don't even know, like, there's no plan on what I'm gonna make. I literally go in my refrigerator the day before or the day of the show that I'm filming and be like, yeah, that. All right, cool. They go to meal, boom, and then I film it because it's basically me cooking dinner for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just filming it. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's clean, man. It's definitely clean. And I'm looking forward to the next episode because every time you do it, like I said, it just makes me hungry. And vicariously, I'm like, yo, that tastes good. I don't know what it tastes like, but it looks good.
Bro, you just with all the stuff going on, I held back. I was supposed to drop it tomorrow, but I'm gonna wait to the end of the week. But wait till you see this seafood gumbo, bro. Crazy.
Oh, man. I like it. You talking to me now, man. All right. So, man, anybody that follows you on social media, and I can tell you this firsthand because when I first signed with Pittsburgh, man, I was like, yo, this dude is on it. Like, he knows everybody that's getting signed. He's talking anything Steelers related. He's in the conversation, man. Big time. Yeah. So first off, major respect to that. But, man, obviously this offseason was crazy, but Ben dropped the video, man, him throwing the ball. Talk about your reaction to that. And ultimately, man, how you think the team is going to do this year?
You know what? I actually love that. You know, and I'm like I say, I'm especially about Steeler football. I'm super transparent. I tell it exactly how I feel. You know what I mean? So how I feel is I'm comfortable with Ben coming back and happy to see him throwing the ball and everything that's going on. You know, with his injury and how he's, you know, being able to get back out there and stuff like that. And at the same time, I do not want to see his backup be Mason Rudolph. I am happy with the Duck.
Okay.
The Duck is cool.
Oh. You about to start a controversy.
The Duck stays, Mason goes. I'm definitely happy about our wide receiving core or running backs. I'm real hype about actually seeing Benny Snell, get more touches.
Mm-hmm.
And on the defensive side, there's not really much for me to say on the defensive side. I feel like the best combination of cornerback and safety is in Pittsburgh, and that's Joe Hayden and Minka.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like we're super locked in. Of course, Bud Dupree is the homie. Devin Busch is the homie. So it's like, I stay connected with these dudes, like as far as on the internet and stuff. And when people are getting signed and, I shout them out, I follow them, I DM them and say, welcome to the city and all of that. So, I'm really ready for this season to pop off.
I am too, for sure. The Mason out and Duck stay though is interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I feel like the offense moves at a speed. Of course, Duck is younger than Ben, so the offense moves at a snap a little quicker. I feel like Mason doesn't have that quickness to himself. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, he's a good quarterback and a system quarterback, but once somebody's rushing, he's not turning to get it out of the pocket.
So nothing about those last 2-3 games with Duck though has you concerned?
No, because he needed to get put in those situations so he can fail to become successful.
Okay.
So that's what I feel like his situation was. It was either he was going to do it or he wasn't, but I wasn't going to be mad either way because I knew the circumstances.
We were definitely playing with house money there last
Without
season.
a doubt.
For sure.
Oh, I like it. That's a different approach right there. I could dig that.
Yes, definitely.
I could dig that. Man, so shoot, this was an awesome time, man. Chevy, thank you once again, man, for hopping on, man. And like you said, man, definitely looking forward to the upcoming album, Since Birth. If y'all haven't checked out the singles yet, man, make sure y'all do that. So once again, man, thanks again, man, and stay safe out here.
Yo, man, thank you guys, man. Sending peace and blessings to everybody's family. You know what I'm saying? With these times going on, and they say that Corona is like nowhere near here anymore, but that's a lie. People are just outside and just doing whatever. So I just hope everybody is, just staying safe.
No doubt, man.
I appreciate it, man. That was the best intro I ever had.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. I take pride in the intros, man. And like you said, man, your life, man, what you've been able to do thus far, man, I think it's awesome and it needs to be celebrated. And I'm, like I said, looking forward to see, man, where it goes from here.
For sure, man. You still stay in Pittsburgh?
Oh, yeah, I'm out here. Absolutely.
All right, when I come back to the city, we got a link, man.
Yes, indeed, man. You got the number now, man. Hit me up, baby.
I got you, man. Appreciate you guys.
All love,
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.